Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Happy Thursday, December 22nd, the day before the storm, so to speak. We got a huge winter storm impacting about 70% of the country here in the United States. Wherever you are in the world, or whatever part of the day you are in, thank you for spending any part of your day here with us. The best basketball conversation here on Twitter Spaces. Lots to get to. Plenty of basketball from last night, some news and notes from the league, and I tell you what, maybe even an update from slamgoods.com, our sponsor. Head over to slamgoods.com, use our promo code HoopSpaces, save 15% off of your entire purchase. Make sure you tell them we sent you, because that's what it's there for. Shout outs to all of you Toronto Raptors fans who are going to be listening either live or on replay. You did it. You stopped the evil empire that is the New York Knicks from going on a 10-game win streak, stopping them at game number 9 last night. Shout out to the greatness of Doc Rivers, the Cleveland Cavaliers, DeMar DeRozan, Ayo Dosunmu, and the Bulls. Hawking the Hawks, lots to get to. Hopefully you are warm. I am not. I actually had to put a space heater into the studio I moved to. My pops is here, so I can't do the show in the regular room. I'll be back in 30 so we can get started. Please like and retweet the show card. Definitely much appreciated. We talked about it yesterday, and I will talk about it again every day. All right, be back in 20. Peace out. All right. Cool. Good morning. I hope you are enjoying your Thursday. We are 2 days and a wake up away from Christmas, and I'm going to go ahead and open the show with some really cool personal news, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to drop this bomb. Prior to the show, I had an interesting conversation with a friend who was talking with one of the big bosses over at slamgoods.com. And ladies and gentlemen, the promo code HoopSpaces has been used 316 times. That's right. Give all of you a round of applause. That is far more than they thought would ever happen. So much so, they are worried that the discount code hit these coupon websites and people are using them on these discount coupon sites instead of just coming in and listening to the show, hearing me give them love every episode because they are titled a sponsor for season 2 of Hoop Spaces. Make sure you head over to slamgoods.com. Use the promo code HoopSpaces, save 15% on your entire purchase. May I suggest the Funko Pop? Or the digital, subscription, or maybe the hard subscription if you want the actual news, the magazine. I don't know what you want as a consumer. All I'm telling you is if you like basketball and you want more basketball in your life that's outside of the 9450, head over to slamgoods.com because apparently we're doing so well that they can't believe it. Shout out to y'all. Appreciate it. Also partnered with Watch Playback, this Playback TV. Have not been able to get into it due to my son's changed swimming schedule. We're going to get that up and running next year, where you can come in and watch a game with me and continue to talk basketball with me if you have questions. Also, nothing that I can put out publicly, but like if you are of the type that want to see this community succeed, like pay attention to the very first week of January. Hopefully, towards the end of that, we'll have some big news for you. And that's not just big news for me. There's going to be some other people who might be able to come with if everything works out right. So shout out to y'all. A big thank you to Justin Patton down below. If you haven't seen it, you've got to see his reaction videos. He gets them up on his channel, JP the Franchise on YouTube, and also on the Hoop Spaces channel on YouTube as well. We'll be doing a better job going in probably after the trade deadline. We're going to reach out out to the wonderful people from Nets Twitter like Brandon Saint and Nets Kingdom AJ. See if we can't get maybe some Nets videos up there. We're going to reach out to JB Fortis, get some Celtics videos out there. Nothing big. Maybe 5 minutes of just, oh my God, did you see this? This is what I saw and this is how I felt. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, this helps you as the creator and the fan. Maybe we'll get some Mavs up here if they can turn the ship around, which they might have last night. All right, if you want a mic, you know what to do. Like and retweet the show card. Up on top also is the Hoop Spaces merchandise store. Shout out to everybody who made a purchase yesterday. I did something last night. I went ahead and greenlit the fulfillment order. I pushed it through, paid actually out of pocket. I'll get reimbursed after the fact so that y'all can get the very first purchases as soon as possible. And all I ask is that once you get it, you throw it on, take a picture so we can start showing people that, hey, not only do we have the best basketball conversation here, we have a viable future of being an independent news or radio program, because that's really the end game here, ladies and gentlemen, as we have kind of entered this quasi state of existence where we're too big for these names, but not big enough for other names. Personally, I find that annoying, but hey, here we are. All right, we got 4 people ready to come up. We'll go ahead and say good morning, and we got a lot to get to today in the world of basketball. I'm going to do something a little bit different today. I'm going to go through the men's and women's college games first. Usually, I'll wait for the second half of the show, or at least the second break. But I'm going to go ahead and open up a little bit differently, as people are probably slow getting in, travel day for the holidays. But last night, there was a couple of games, college games, that I also watched. The first one I watched is because is a home thing. I have family who graduated Purdue. Purdue beat New Orleans 74-53. I personally think that the Final Four is going to include Purdue and Houston. I think they are the 2 best college basketball teams in the country. And I watched them last night, and I'm telling you, it is going to be difficult to beat them. They are a complete solid team, but they're just not as deep as Houston is in terms of athleticism. Houston over McNeese State, 83-44. Texas and Austin put up 100 on Louisiana, 172. The Tennessee Vols beat Austin P 86-44. Arkansas beat UNC Asheville 85-51. UCLA defeated the UC Davis Stangs 81-54. Kentucky beat Florida A&M 88-68. TCU survived Salt Lake City 75-71 over Utah. Boston College upsets Virginia Tech 70-65. Auburn outlasts Washington 84-61. They really poured it on in the second half. And then the other game that I actually caught was late last night because I couldn't sleep. Shout out to the University of San Francisco Dons beating the 25-ranked Arizona State Sun Devils 97-60. That was really cool to watch. They enjoyed that victory, as they should. Women's scores last night, ladies and gentlemen, very, very interesting. Maryland beat Purdue Fort Wayne 88-51. But if you watch that game, coming out of the first quarter, Maryland was not happy with their play. They subsequently bought in and played great defense and beating the Fort Wayne Mastodons. South Carolina more than doubled up Coastal Carolina, 102-39. I ask again, do we need a mercy rule? Because this is getting ugly. Notre Dame beat Western Michigan 85-57. UConn beat Seton Hall 98-73. The Indiana Lady Hoosiers beat Butler 67-50. They are still undefeated, 12-0, 8-0 at home. Iowa beats Dartmouth 92-54. St. John's, shout out St. John's, ranked number 25th, 12-0, defeated Wagner. Southern Florida defeated Arkansas 66-65. And if you remember, I just told you the other day that these South Florida Lady Bulls are a legit squad. They are athletic. They play hard. They play discipline. They just beat the 17th ranked Arkansas Razorbacks 66-65. Shout out USF. Arizona beats UT Arlington 78-59. Baylor beats Long Beach State 73-52. Ohio State beats Oregon 84-67. Va-Tech beats High Point by 20, 86-66. Kansas gets their first loss in triple overtime to Nebraska, 85-79 in Lincoln. The Lady Zags beat Montana 82-67. And Oklahoma beats Florida 95-79. There you go. Your top 25 men's and women's games. And I kind of wanted to get that through because there's a lot of them. And if you haven't gotten in to college, whether men's or women's, understand that after NBA Christmas, it's time to get ready because we'll be entering the full scouting portion of college basketball for the WNBA draft and the NBA draft. So make sure you get ready to add that to your timestamp. All right, we've got 5 dope people up here already. Let me go ahead and shout out some people down below. What's up to Real Chris Says? Look, anybody who has the name Chris, automatically a good follow. But what he does is he actually does a great job of engagement on Twitter. So if you ever want to expand your account and meet more sports fans, Chris is a dope follow. Just, interact. You'll see it. And your account will grow. Shout out to Rels Pels, able to come up, host of the Pels and Whistles podcast. I already pointed out Justin Patton, our YouTube coordinator. Big ups to Jose and Rolo, another phenomenal 77 spaces last night. Look, it's hard to do what we do and be consistent. I ask that all of you at least one time, just one time, come in and listen so you can hear exactly what it is to have a great basketball convo with another fan base. Because I think after we've heard some like Hawks and Knicks and we got now Golden State, like sometimes we just need some cool people to hang out with, chill, and actually learn about another team. And that's why I always pick up Jose and Rolo and Jazz because they do a phenomenal job of exactly what spaces can and should be, in my opinion. TJ is in the building. Evan is in the building. Ebays is in the building. Santa Rosa's here. Hakimi Butler. What's up, man? Heaton 5. Mackenzie, it's good to see you. I appreciate everybody popping in, just like the pickup card game came in. And so now I can do this read again, just so that the good people at Slam Goods understand how we roll here, ladies and gentlemen. Brought to you by slamgoods.com. Head over there now. Use promo code HoopSpaces. Save 15%. And I'm telling you now, it's going to be annoying because I have every compunction in my body to keep saying slamgoods.com is the place to go to pick up what you need for the basketball fan in your life, whether it's apparel or collectibles. Check it out. Slamgoods.com. Use promo code HoopSpaces and pick up your copy of the pickup card game too. Save $3.75 and get yourself a proper cup of coffee that you can drink out of the very own Hoop Spaces mug. If you want to buy one of those, head over to Hoop Spaces merch store and pick it up. It's $12. Most of the money goes to creating content. The other money goes to my son's habit, which is going to school. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. All right, we'll get our good mornings in. We'll go first to Malika Walker, host of the Rewind Pod. Malika, good morning.
Good morning. Happy with another Nets win, and I'm looking forward to going to see the Bucks and the Nets on Friday. Good morning.
Ooh, you're going to the game?
I'm going to the game. What tickets earlier this year. I can't wait. And I may even be able to see, I may even have a decent seat. So we'll see how that unfolds tomorrow. But I'm looking forward to tonight's conversation, and I'm looking forward to today's Hoop Spaces.
Yeah, we'll definitely get in to the Larry Bird convo that you're going to be having a little bit later, so you can go ahead and tell the good people exactly what they're going to be able to expect, because we've done these rooms before when we're on Clubhouse, and you've done a great job of holding these great conversations. The last one with Rolo and a whole bunch of Mavs fans able to come in and talk about Dirk Nowitzki, and we're going to go to the person who everybody says was the predecessor, right? Larry Bird. Talk about him real quick.
Larry Bird is one of the best forwards of all time. I think he gets overlooked now because I don't know, some people forget YouTube exists and you can actually watch some Larry Bird, but his career was cut short due to injury. But he was great. You listen to Magic, listen to Jordan, listen to some of the greatest who played the game, and they will tell you how great Larry Bird is and was. He was also a really, really good coach when he coached for the Pacers after he played. But I just wanted to give that era of the Celtics with Kevin McHale, who injured the hell out of, his name is escaping me, but I'll know it tonight. From the Lakers, that was a really dirty play, but
Cooper or Green? Was it Cooper or Green?
it was the guy with the glasses. Why is it fading me? And I know his name.
Rambis?
Yes, Kurt Rambis. You remember that hit?
Yes, I
Remember
do.
that? Yeah. I just wanted to show that era some love because that decade it was either the Celtics or the Lakers that were in the finals pretty much every year in the 80s. And just show that era of the Celtics. I know everyone loves to see the Celtics. They're down now. They lost a few games, but I don't think that's going to last. People love seeing this era of the Celtics, like ascend. But let's give some love to one of the eras that actually won and one of the greatest players in the franchise's history. It is what Celtics fans voted for. So I'm just giving the fans what they want. So check it out.
Got to give the people what they want.
Are you talking about on that fast break, right? And he
Yes.
going up for the layup. Woo! That
Yep.
Yeah, and he.
Woo!
Oh, he'd have been suspended.
Imagine if that was Isaiah Stewart that was a smack to the floor.
Isaiah
Stewart would have killed him.
I don't think there are players that can play in any era. Isaiah Stewart is one of them, and I don't think people would want to fight Isaiah Stewart. Mm-mm. You know what I mean? Like just look at the brother. Like the dude
Chris,
is a walking refrigerator.
About Larry Bird right quick?
Yeah, go ahead, Joe. Good morning.
I just want to say is that saying he doesn't get as much credit as Stephen Curry, how he changed the game, but like big man shooters like come on, man, like that was saying Dirk was saying the predecessor. Larry Bird's predecessor, Dirk Nowitzki, and like all the big man shooters we have nowadays, a stretch big, that was Larry Bird. Like he changed the game. Like there's nothing you can say about that. That's Larry Bird.
And the funny thing is, I thought he had more threes than he actually.
No, he didn't. But there were some games where he would get 4 or 5 because he was just kind of on one. But he only really averaged 1.5 per game.
Yes, but Larry Bird was truly one of the greats. And the Magic versus Bird years were magical. So we're just going to talk about that tonight. But thank you. I'm looking forward to hearing your take on and our take on last night's games.
All right, there you go. Appreciate it, Malika. Make sure you shoot Malika Walker here and follow. We'll get the tweet up there, and we'll do another promo for the show a little bit later. Up next, we'll say good morning to Joe, who already just chimed in with some Larry Bird stuff. Joe, go ahead and say good morning to the good people.
Good morning. How everybody's doing? Chris, I just want to say I woke up today and I just looked at it for the first time ever. I'm a 42-year-old man. I have 4 teams. College football, college men's basketball, NBA, and NFL when they're in the top 4 of the league. Like that's just that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to say good morning to everybody with that.
All right. Well, congratulations on feeling good about your fandom. Everybody else's who teams suck hate you. Just want to let you know. Like that's how this world works, apparently. If your teams are up,
thank you very much.
They hate you. Yeah, keep the hate coming. I love the hate. I had a hate DM yesterday. It brought a smile to my face. Like I don't understand what people think when they do that too. I find it actually kind of funny. It's like you took the time to like write me a paragraph of why I suck. Just think about that. You took the time to write a paragraph in a DM on how much I suck. Obviously, I don't suck that much. Barkai, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Chris. Good morning, everybody. Just say real quick, congrats to the Raptors fans. They won the game. Siakam dropped, what was it, 50, 52, whatever. I'm disappointed that the streak ended just because I wanted to see it go up till Christmas. But it is what it is. I'm not gonna drop my head. We'll be fine. We had to lose sometime, and we're still better record-wise overall. 18-14 against 14-18. So yeah, the rematch is coming January 6th.
Yeah, tough break.
Hey, I mean, Quentin Grimes was missing, so that's a huge part of what we do defensively and offensively. But I'd rather take the loss than to see him get injured long term. So, let
You
him
say
rest up. Maybe he'll
Grimes
be
was
fine for
missing?
tomorrow. Quentin
Grimes
Grimes
was
didn't
missing. That's
play.
why y'all lost. Is that what you said?
I'm saying if he's one of the reasons why, we didn't look as good as we did because he's a big part of what we do. And if you would watch Knick games, you'd know that, but you don't. So
Bro,
you just talk shit about stuff that you don't know.
bro. I'm not going to say Grimes is the
Bro,
reason why we
bro,
lost.
bro. Quentin
Stop.
Grimes is pretty good. He can shoot the three and plays defense. I mean, come on.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, we are starting off hot this morning. Knicks fans on the back of an 8-game win streak came in this morning or yesterday morning, and they was King Kong. Deej knows what I'm talking about. They was and then now it's Quentin Grimes was out. Deej, good morning.
Good morning, man. Shout out to you. Appreciate everybody. The bigger indictment is what New York is doing to San Francisco sports. Shout out to Miss Malika's Brooklyn Nets, because the real indictment is the Golden State Warriors and their draft picks are colossal failures when Steph Curry doesn't play. Mr. Quentin Grimes.
Look at that professional deflection, man. That was good. Give yourself a round of applause.
I'm very good at deflecting when it's just one loss. Very good at it. One loss out of 8. So Mr. Quentin Grimes in that winning streak averaged 15 points. So he actually was critical if Mr. Pascal Siakam is out here dropping half a generation worth of points. So just want to chime in on that. But listen, keep it good times rolling. Shout out to the Toronto Raptors, man. Nick Nurse is an evil scientist. And Tom Thibodeau has always struggled against his zone defense. And the rules still apply. I think Pascal Siakam got a lot of friendly whistles, 18 free throws for himself, as opposed to 18 free throws for the New York Knicks. I'm not going to play politics into that, but they came out desperate. They came out playing a playoff type style basketball. And when the Knicks are down two of their best defenders, you just got to take that L, man. So much credit to the Toronto Raptors.
I tell you, I don't know what makes it worse for y'all. Is it that Pascal Siakam dropped 52, or is it that you really just got beat by Pascal Siakam and Fred VanVleet?
You really just got beat by Pascal Siakam and Fred VanVleet again.
Yep, and the coaching strategy made no sense either. Just because the Toronto Raptors are the second worst three-point shooting team in the league, and we were getting beat by two guys, I'd rather just double Siakam anytime he touched the basketball and force the other guys to shoot the three. But apparently nobody gave Tibbs that memo.
Yeah, well, we'll find out, because the funny thing is their all-world rookie Scotty Barnes had 2 points.
Yeah, another deflection right there is Scotty Barnes or Franz Wagner, one of the most versatile wing defenders in the NBA.
Oh, I screamed last year, Deej, that Franz Wagner was my rookie of the year, and it was the only time I actually had Raptors fans yell at me because of Scotty, and I'm like sitting here like, I like Scotty. Don't get me wrong, but like Franz is better, at least right now.
Man, I'm good at deflecting. I'm also good at promoting. So I just want to shout out to me and Breeze. So our show, Good Morning Knicks, is every morning at 11 a.m. Feel free to come through and come through our spaces to talk Knicks or talk about your team. It's an open invitation. Like, Knicks fans do not jump you unless you jump them. I repeat, Knicks fans do not jump you.
That is not true, actually. That is not true.
That's a lie.
That is some creative
And
licensure, Deej.
You guys are the reason why I don't tolerate it anymore from anybody.
Shout out to
I
the
can
Chris,
Brooklyn.
can I say something? because
That's
I was
nasty
here.
work early in the morning from Knicks
Nets
fans.
fans,
Oh,
Nets
I
and
was
Knicks
here
fans are
yesterday,
not
right? And
dating.
I heard the Knicks
I
fans
mean,
talking about how, say it doesn't matter about the win streak. We had 7, they had 8, right? And I just heard a Knicks fan talk about how they didn't have Quentin Grimes and they lost the game, and we just beat the defending champions by 30 with no Kyrie Irving. I just wanted to put that
we beat the
stick
we
that
beat
out
the
there.
we beat
Yeah,
the
because
the
Because
defending
I
defending
will
champions.
champ.
say
No
this: the
because it's
context.
not an
Warriors
Add
are in
excuse.
here.
context to the defense.
Man, I tell you, all of y'all drank y'all coffee this morning, huh? I have this button and I wield it with impunity. Knicks fans jump every fan base every day because there's more Knicks fans than any fan in the NBA other than Lakers fans, and the Lakers fans ain't got jack to jump on anybody about. Let's be honest,
No, but
D's.
what the hell is this guy
EMS, that
talking
was
about? Like
disgusting. That was
Quentin
some
Grimes being
Bye,
out.
disgusting
Kai.
work
Don't
he
don't
did there.
don't 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 defend a losing
Well,
No, no, no,
position.
no,
I
Bye,
no,
mean,
Kai.
no.
I'm
Quentin
pretty.
Grimes being out is not an excuse. We're not using it as an excuse, but he is a big part of what we do, and it sucked not
Let
seeing
me
him
let me
out
ask
there.
you. Let me go ahead and debunk this real quick. I can debunk this real fast.
What's going on? It's
Who's
only
who started?
26
Yeah,
minutes into the
who
show.
started? Who started in Quentin Grimes'
Mr.
place?
Emmanuel
Emmanuel
Quick
quickly.
Did Emmanuel quickly perform better, on par, or below what Quentin Grimes produces?
on par.
On par, on par.
Then I don't want to hear
Okay,
Quentin
but that
Grimes
still
being out.
affected the bench rotation because Tibbs went to Derrick Rose, who gave us absolutely nothing.
Then you just didn't have the
Can I just
pieces.
because I know it's LOL Knicks and everybody's taking it. EMS, the New York Knicks smoked the Golden State Warriors also by 37. So no Kyrie Irving.
Okay, here we go. Y'all
Just
just
no,
say
no.
the
I'm just
Golden
saying.
State
Just
Warriors
adding,
with
adding,
no fucking
adding
context.
to
All
EMS.
right.
It's
Adding
funny.
to EMS.
Y'all
So,
enjoy this little parade y'all have. Enjoy it while it lasts. I'm
one,
telling y'all.
Khaleesi, the people are enjoying it because they've been held hostage by the Golden State Warriors fans for the better
Yeah.
part of a decade. So, like, everything y'all are about to get, like, as a fan base, y'all kind of put out
One of the
there.
worst.
There's a
One of the.
whole
No, we
bunch of
did not.
fans.
By winning,
Oh, yes. Yes.
that's not our problem that the Knicks are fucking trash. That's not our problem.
Your
Like,
record, what's your record?
it's not our
14 and
problem
18?
that the
Oh, man. So contentious. All right, last night, ladies and gentlemen, we can't even get through the good mornings. Last night, basketball actually happened. It was more than just the Knicks losing to the Raptors and the Nets blowing the Warriors out of the arena. The Cavs beat the Bucks 114-106, ladies and gentlemen. Look, this is a good barometer. Both teams were missing an essential player, an actual essential player, and Cleveland beat Milwaukee in their own game. They were able to stop Giannis in the first quarter. They were able to out-rebound in the first half. That set them up with a double-digit lead, and they just cruised to a win. The 76ers beat the Pistons by 20. Yo, it's just bad in Detroit because of injuries. But if you look at what Dwayne Casey has done as a developmental coach, I have to give him some credit. Not going to lie, I did not think he had it in him to develop some of these players. Not because he's not a good coach, but because stylistically he had kind of settled in to coaching a specific way with vets. So I wanted to make sure that I give Dwayne Casey some love, despite that he got a loss. Also out of Detroit, Troy Weaver picked up a contract extension. So shout out Troy Weaver, putting together a phenomenal cast of potential talent. The question that I had coming out of that is, will Dwayne Casey get grandfathered, similar to how Alvin Gentry did in Sacramento, into a front office position so that they can bring in a younger voice to then take the culture that Dwayne has spent 2 years building to the next level. The Bulls beat the Hawks, and I would not want to be John Collins. This dude is getting it every way. Whether it's because the Chicago Bulls are jumping on him because of a game winner, or whether it's because, once again, in year 3 of the John Collins Hawks saga, he is up in trade discussions once again. So we'll get into that a little bit later. 110-108, your final with the game winner by Ayo Dosunmu. The Pacers beat the Celtics 117-112. they need Marcus Smart. JB is here to talk about it. We'll get JB's rant get up and running in a minute after we get through the good mornings. The Warriors need to get out of New York. They need to go play like in Delaware or something. 143, 113, 91 first half points by that team in Brooklyn, who everybody wrote off in the beginning of the year, except me. I'm like, what are y'all crying about?
Let's wait for the playoffs to really see.
Yeah, let's wait to the playoffs for a 20-12 team who's 10-1 in their last 11, Khaleesi, without having Ben Simmons play well.
Let them face Boston first. Boston first.
Now, that's the team that sucks ass right there.
Man, you are just on one today, Barkai.
Cheers and violence, Chris.
Hell yeah.
Raptors beat the Knicks 113-106. Pascal Siakam 52-9-7. Julius Randle, and that was your real problem. Julius falls into this, I'm going to go 1 for 1, and there were some offensive possessions where he was not it, but he thought he was. And like, if he'd given the ball up, maybe you guys win this game. Magic beat the Rockets 116 to 110. We're going to have an interesting discussion on these Orlando Magic. People are saying that Paolo Banchero should be an all-star, and I'm sitting here like, no, he shouldn't. But that's just me. He probably will, because it's a voting league and it's a popularity vote. 23-13 last night for the Orlando Magic. But more importantly, we got to actually have an honest discussion about the Orlando Magic, because they might have figured it out. They are actually better than we want to give them credit for. And they are now 7-1 in their last 8, playing this too-tall lineup where Markelle Fultz is the smallest player on the court. The Mavericks get a must-need bounce-back win over the Timberwolves, 104-99. Luka Doncic 1 rebound away from a triple-double, 25-9-10. Rudy Gobert back from injury, 19-15 for a double-double. The Thunder sneak out a win in Oklahoma City, 101-98. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander 27-6. The Thunder are 14-18, and I think it's come to their understanding that they're just not going to be able to be as bad as the San Antonio Spurs, Houston Rockets, or Charlotte Hornets. And I think they've given up on the tank. I actually expect them to be buyers for a consolidation trade to get FGA some legit help. Outside of Lugan Stortz. And they're also going to be able to do that because they have literally 30% of the draft locked up in draft picks. The Charlotte Hornets fall to the Los Angeles Clippers, 126-105. LaMelo Ball, a triple-double, 25, 11, and 12 in the loss. Paul George, 22, 8, and 8 in a win. Clippers now quietly 19-14. And I tell you, a lot of people are giving John Wall some grief. I just ask you, what were you like after you came back to work after 2 years off? Take some time, y'all. Like, it really does. There's been a couple of games where he's actually performed brilliantly. And then we saved the best for last in this instance. Down goes the king as LeBron James loses in Sacramento, 134-120. This is a game that was pretty telling. As a Lakers fan, if you cannot get Anthony Davis back healthy, your season is done. There's absolutely nothing you can do outside of a game-saving trade. It's done. Put a fork in it. I hate saying it. I don't like the idea of not seeing LeBron in the playoffs back-to-back years. I don't care if you don't like LeBron. I don't care if you don't like the Lakers. I like watching LeBron, right? There are maybe a handful of people on this planet that play basketball at the level or higher. Enjoy it while you can, because we're 2 years away from it not happening. All right, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Shout outs down below. I'm going to get Damo and JB up here. Big ups to my man Zeke. Spoon of Zeke, just like Real Chris says, phenomenal at engagement on Twitter. I hope he got that head coaching job from lacrosse. If you don't know, I'm DMV. He's DMV. Lacrosse runs heavy in our social structure. If you want to grow your Twitter with fans that engage in all sports, make sure you shoot my man Zeke Spoon a follow. All right, there we go. Now, maybe we can get through these good mornings without, Bonkai wanting to go all husky on people. We will go to Al, my man. Al, the 2-minute warning, 76ers fan, and soon to be Doc Rivers truther because Doc Rivers is a great coach. Al, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. I can't believe we're talking about like I can see if Brunson was out and they're crying about him being out. We had 80 million. Matter of fact, the whole NBA has had 80 million people out during the course of the year. And they're crying about that. But anyway, you know what I want to talk about, Chris. I'm happy we're 1-6 in a row. We're going for 7 on Friday. I want to talk about Boston Celtics. Everybody and their grandma told me, hand them the chip right now. 2 weeks ago, it's over. Nobody from the West might as well not even challenge them. It's over. That's what I can't wait to talk about. So tell me when we're going to that subject.
I love it.
We'll get there actually really
As
soon.
Matt immediately request to speak.
Let me shoot Nat, the co-host. There you go, Nat. Up next, we're going to say good morning to the pickup card game. We got JFK, we got Micah. Then we're going to open up, ladies and gentlemen, with some Boston Celtics talk. We got JB Fortis of the NBA, NFL Now, with a Boston take we're going to get to. Pickup card game. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Chris. Good morning, Who Spaces. Just one game that caught my eye was that Cavaliers Bucks game. So shouts to Cleveland, man. That's a big win for that team. But I just want to also give a big shout out to New York basketball, man. I'm from New York, Chris. I always have love for New York. So quick question to you all. Who is the greatest point guard to come out of New York City? The greatest point guard to come out of New York City. Who is it? Anybody can answer.
Jalen Brunson. Sorry. Go ahead.
I mean, I would say it comes down for me to 3 people.
Yeah.
Kenny Anderson, Stephon Marbury, and Bob Cousy.
Okay.
There you go.
How about you, Breeze? You from New York, Breeze? Greatest point guard from New York City.
That was for me? My bad. Yeah, I'm going Marbury.
Marbury? All right. For me, it was definitely Nate Tiny Archibald. My man grew up in the Bronx. He is the only guy to lead the league in points and assists in the season. He won a ring with the Celtics. The ultimate dude. And if you ask most point guards who actually play ball like Marbury and Kenny, right, they'll say Nate Tiny Archibald. So shouts to him. He came out to work with us in the pickup card game this past weekend. Went to a Boys and Girls Club in the Bronx and a pickup tournament. It's in the Jumbotron, but things like that are things which guys like him keep on doing. And I think we got to salute guys like him, LeBron, Steph Curry, who actually spend time in the community, right, and have a face. Because for those kids seeing him and saying, oh, shit, that's Nate Archibald, right? That's the guy I play with in 2K. That's the guy who my dad talks about. That's something for them, which as 8-year-old kids will be a lifelong memory. So shouts to him, and definitely check that out on our page. Shouts to you, Chris, man. But I'm pumped to talk more about these games. But the Knicks are okay. Knicks fans, we okay. It's all good. And I agree about Quentin Grimes. He was important to that team, and he'll be back though soon. Much love.
All right, and no, Kemba Walker is not a top 5 New York City point guard. Like, I love Kemba, but like even Kemba wouldn't say Kemba. Let's be honest. Like, and by the way, the reason why I said Kenny Anderson is because like the dudes who are in the NBA when Kenny was at Georgia Tech will be talking about Kenny Anderson at Georgia Tech. Like Rod Strickland, they idolized his ball handling ability. And if you got Rod Strickland, who's a pro, saying while you were in college, like I have never seen a man like this That's why I picked Kenny Anderson. But you're right. Nate Tiny Archibald just doesn't get the credit he deserves. And I'm actually thrilled that you're able to work with him. So make sure you check that out over on the slamgoods.com and pick up your copy of Pickup. Head over to the actual pickup.io website. Check him out on YouTube. Shoot him a follow because you're going to see a lot more of that. And if you paid attention during the summer, he had a barnstorming tour across the country, bringing Pickup to actual Pickup games. So make sure you tap in. Big things are planned for this next year. All right, we'll go to Micah Clark, and then we'll go to JFK, and then we're going to go Boston Celtics with JB Fortis and Nat. Micah, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Chris. How you doing?
I'm well. I'm good. I'm here.
Right. Same. Just, man, getting ready to freeze. Coming in at 12, but still good. So I gotta say this real quick. Celebrating a win over the defending champion Warriors is the equivalent of celebrating a win over the defending champion Rams. Like, they're down bad. Like, I mean, as a Mavs fan, I see this with my own team, where a lot of the time it looks like it's just Luka and some guys. But, man, some of these pickups just ain't working out. Guys are getting older, and it looks like it's just Steph and some guys right now. So, hey, shout out to them.
Who's getting older?
Everybody's getting older.
Everybody's getting older.
I want you to be specific with that.
Yeah, we're transitioning. So, some teams are going to get better, some teams are going to fall off, and it's okay. It happens like that. That's how the NBA works. Maybe they figure it out sometime, but I haven't seen it. I haven't seen a dynasty roll over, and for most dynasties that I've seen, it takes a real long time for them to get back to that level. So,
all right, appreciate it, Michael. You're getting too loud, man. The background noise is just killing. JF, good morning.
Morning, Chris. How you doing?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm all right, man. I came in here yesterday talking about NBA's it's not really good. Everybody's not really doing so good. Because I said that because the Knicks were on a 7-game win streak. I was hoping they'd beat the Toronto Raptors just for positioning purposes. But, man, all these teams, Chris, they're doing bad. But what I think it is, it's the beginning of a new era. I think teams are they already found their centerpieces, and now they're just trying to see if they can roster construct year by year and try and make a championship run while the Warriors are dying out right now. So it happens with all these dynasties. Look, LeBron, when he left Miami, that was the end of it. So at least Steph is not going to leave. Maybe Draymond. But, shouts out to the Magic because I think they did find something. I think they took a blueprint probably from NBA 2K a little bit with everybody at 6'7" and above. And they're actually kind of skilled. So this is going to mess up Ronnie 2K a little bit by, working on the data and fixing up the meta for the game. So great morning, but let's see if things can turn around. But the Miami Heat, yeah, we still not good. So if Miami Heat's not good, I'm not expecting a lot of other teams to be good.
Yeah, understand, from 1999 until today, we have been blessed by seeing either the San Antonio Spurs, Los Angeles Lakers, LeBron James, or the Golden State Warriors in the finals. 23 years, okay? 23 years that we've seen this. We have had one final without either the Los Angeles Lakers, San Antonio Spurs, LeBron James, or the Golden State Warriors, and that was the Phoenix Suns and Milwaukee Bucks. So, we are in a transitionary period. I've been saying this since the beginning of the season. Warriors fans aren't going to like it, but Father Time is undefeated. LeBron fans ain't going to like it. Father Time is undefeated. And guess what? Sooner or later, the league catches up. It's been the truth. The Bulls went through it. The Pistons went through it. The Celtics went through it. The Spurs went through it. The Lakers went through it. Guess whose turn it is? It's the Golden State Warriors' turn.
Not us. Not us. Y'all keep on talking.
Keep on what? You are arguing against history, Khaleesi.
It's cool. It's okay. When we come back, I better not hear anything. When we come back,
see, that's the problem. You can come back this year.
When we go back to back again, I want to hear nothing.
But you're not understanding the argument.
Y'all thought the same thing in 2019. Y'all thought it was over. So, when we go back to
2019, you lost to the Raptors.
That's fine, and they thought it was over. It
was. It took you 3 years to get back. It was over.
Chris, can I play?
Okay, we're gonna leave out context. It's fine though.
Can I play mediator because I'm pretty good at this with Nick's Twitter? Khaleesi, you do know, like, eventually people, just pass away due to age. That's kind of what father time is for basketball. Stephen Curry can't play 20 years. The next 20 years, he will eventually go away. That's all good things.
And my whole point is, if you look at what the Warriors are without Steph, that's what you got to base your decision on. Like, everybody here is going to give you Steph. We think Steph is one of the greatest of all time. Not just a great shooter, one of the greatest. The issue is Steph ain't young. And neither is Klay Thompson. Neither is Draymond Green. And neither Klay Thompson nor Draymond Green are going to age as gracefully as Steph. And we know this. We see this with our eyes. Go ahead, Jeff.
So that's what I'm saying now, because I'm a Heat fan, all right, and I have to look for not towards Jimmy Butler, because I already understand Jimmy Butler's window of winning a championship is about closed. I think my faith is in what Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo can do, and what else they can bring on with the next couple draft picks we got. And I think that goes just for every team. When you've been winning championships, you just go through that period. Like we said. You either retire like Tim Duncan or you get traded like Kawhi. It's either or, but there's going to be a time for the end. And I think it is coming to an end because of nutrition.
Kawhi?
I'll wait for my turn.
What's up, Davo? All right. Boston Celtics time. They lost. They are in a slump. I don't think it is as bad as other non-Boston Celtics fans, but there are Boston Celtics fans who are actually losing their mind on this. In the group chat that I've been added to, shout out to JB Fortis for adding me to the Bleed Green group chat. I made this comment. They need to start Malcolm Brogdon over Derek White. And the reason why is this is what Derek White does. He's going to give you a good game. He's going to play heady. He's going to play all hard, but then he's going to do his best Kendrick Nunn impersonation. And unfortunately for him, he gives far more Kendrick Nunn impersonations than he does, Derek White impersonations at times. And if you put Malcolm Brogdon in without Marcus Smart, you have a better chance of creating starter continuity, and then you just kind of hope that the bench can make up the difference, similar to what New York wasn't able to do because Quentin Grimes was out. That's just my opinion. But JB's really locked in here. So is Nat. We're going to give the floor to JB first to give his rant, and then Nat's going to come in, clean house, and tell you exactly why the Boston Celtics don't need to be worried and why you still need to be worried about the likes of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. JB, the floor is yours. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Chris. And while, just to piggyback off your point, they should also probably start Malcolm Brogdon over Peyton Pritchard. Whoever made that decision was probably a little ridiculous. And that's what happened last night.
Excuse me, my man. I wanted to make. Excuse me.
Go ahead.
You Chris, that's the guy.
Wait a minute. You got to let JB finish. Hold up now. Let JB go on his rant, and then you can come in and say, your nonsense, but let him go off. Thank you.
Sixers fans looking real nasty out here.
I'm being sarcastic. I want.
Good Lord.
Nat with the hammer today. Not me, y'all. Not me. I was sitting here messaging back and forth with people. Nat holding it down.
Can we hear from the Celtics, please, and not a Sixer fan?
No, I'm ready to go.
JB, go.
You sure? Okay.
Yes, go.
So, all right. Time to talk and worry about your favorite number 2 seed in the 2021 Eastern Conference Final winner, Boston Celtics, who are a half game behind the Milwaukee Bucks 3 days before Christmas Day when they face those very same Bucks who lost last night to the number 3 seed Cleveland Cavaliers. There are reasons, big and small, to worry about the Celtics. The biggest reason and the most accurate reason to worry most about the Celtics is Joe Mazzulla and his inability to effectively use timeouts against opponents. This is a real issue. This issue will come back against them in the playoffs. The ability to stop, the inability for whatever reason to use a timeout to stop an opponent's run. But there have also been ridiculous elements to Joe Mazzulla's coaching. I just brought up a moment ago, starting Peyton Pritchard at point guard when you have Malcolm Brogdon. That's just dumb. And additionally, rotations. It was always. He was always going to struggle as a rookie head coach, but yeah, he's a real issue. But there was always going to be an adjustment period when Rob Williams returned. Everybody in this room said that. Everybody agreed with that. And the idea that the team would just keep winning and be exactly as good as they always were, and Rob was just going to storm right in after the major knee surgery, was always ridiculous. The team had the best defensive starting team in all of the NBA last year with Marcus Smart, Rob Williams, Al Horford, and Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. So to pretend like they're not going to be at least better defensively when all 5 of them are on the court than they have been is a bit of an overreaction. But let's go to that, because the second biggest reason to worry about the Celtics is that defense. Since the Suns game, the defense has stumbled, giving up 110 points or more in 5 of the last 6 games. The lack of muscle in the front court, particularly whenever Al Horford or Robert Williams sits, leads to defensive rebounds and transition points for the other team way too often. Against the Warriors, Clippers, and Magic, they were out-rebounded by 12-plus rebounds every single game, and the lack of size was absolutely noticeable. Yeah, but last night against the Pacers, they out-rebounded them with Miles Turner by 15 rebounds. In the game before that, against the tall Orlando Magic, 97-92, Jaylen Brown, from his small forward / shooting a wing, whatever you want to call him, had 15 rebounds by himself. So there's probably an emphasis going on against that. But there is more. There is more. The third biggest reason to worry about the Celtics is the three-point shooting. Since that Lakers game, the Celtics shot 23.9% from 3 against the Magic in Game 1, 25.5% in Game 2, 31.7% last night against the Pacers. Sam Hauser, massive funk. And it's three-point shooting like that leads a rookie head coach to start Peyton Pritchard. Major reason. But prior to these last 6 games, so again, exiting the Phoenix game, so not counting that, so counting just before that, the team was shooting 45% from three-point range. So being a half game back with the Cleveland Cavaliers and Brooklyn Nets surging, Boston is probably not the overwhelming dominant team the way the Philadelphia Sixers fan down there, the two, probably wants to get at it. That was probably an overreaction, that Boston was just going to run away with it and Milwaukee was the only team that mattered. But to pretend like teams don't go through slumps, especially after a 7-game road trip that has you going first to Brooklyn and then to Canada and then to Golden State and then to Los Angeles and to Phoenix, like when you're traveling all over the place over
Man, I don't know. Was that Cottonmouth? Did it get you, or did you get a phone call?
JB?
Must have gotten a phone call.
Okay.
I heard something. Dang. All right. Nat, hop in here. We'll wait for JB to pop up. Al go up next because I know Al's got something. It was just a joke. It ain't nothing big. We got Joe down below wanting to go. We've got a whole bunch of other people. JB's got some tech issues. Damn.
Maybe.
Hate to see it.
Listen, he was going off like JB usually does, but this is simple. Who the hell had the Celtics going 76-6?
Oh, a lot of people.
That is insane because before the beginning of the season, it was they're going to win about 45 games because there's no Ime Udoka, maybe about 50. Let's be real. I'm about being real. Okay, so that's what you guys were saying, right? So then you're upset that we didn't suck. You know, we kept it together, even in spite of not having, our head coach from last year. And you're upset. I get that. But no one had us going winning 70 games. Let's be real. You didn't. So if that's the case, then which games did you have us losing to? Did you have us losing to every time we played Philly? Or how about Miami? Golden State every time we played them? Did you have us down for the Bulls? Which games is it okay to lose, and stumble? Which ones? Can you guys tell me that? Because they're in a funk right now in December. And we started off hot. We built ourselves a cushion where our downfall knocks us to number 2, not from 1 to 12. There are a lot of teams that you go on a downfall because you started bad, you weren't playing good to begin with, and you went from 8th to 12th. You went from 9th to 13th. That is what this is this season right now. A lot of teams started off bad, now they're doing well, and vice versa. So am I concerned? No, I'm not concerned about the players. I'm concerned about maybe Joe Mazzulla the most, because you do not start Peyton Pritchard. Do not come up here and try to go on a rant and talk about the Boston Celtics and you don't see that dummy put Peyton Pritchard as your starting point guard and then try to figure out why the hell we lost and why we look like we look crazy. Okay, you got Malcolm Brogdon, right? A guy that's went 50, 40, and 90 before, right? Follow me, people, because I know you are, right? We're going to sit him on the bench, right? Because that's smart. What we're going to do is go to Peyton Pritchard, the 5'4" backup point guard to the backup point guard. That's what we're going to do to get back on track. This is a coaching issue, people. And when he figures out what he's doing, we'll be even better. Right now, he's literally winging it. This man is winging it. He's saying, listen, I know how to get you open threes. That's what I know how to do. I don't know much about defense. We're going to try some shit and see if it sticks. But he's winging it, and we're number 2. If he can just figure out how to coach and actually know what he's doing.
Wait, real quick, because we've had talks. Yes. We know each other for years. Yes. Who would you rather have, Joe Mazzulla or Bradford Stevens?
Oh, and Bradford is not his name. It's a name that Nat gave him.
I know. That's what makes it hilarious for me.
Chris, this is what's depressing. I'm looking out my window and I'm like, well, man, was Brad that bad? Was Brad that? This is how
Oh my
bad.
God.
This is how bad. Everyone knows I don't like Brad Stevens as a damn head coach, but Joe Mazzulla has me looking at Brad Stevens like, man, you could step down and, do a little coaching and still run the front office. I don't see what's the problem right now. That's how much I don't like Joe Mazzulla.
What am I hearing right now?
You know who did that? Doc Rivers.
Doc Rivers is a great coach.
And very popular.
What
okay.
is going on?
So Nat, we're gonna get to JB after this real quick so he can finish his rant. Yeah. I had in the East Milwaukee, Boston, Brooklyn, Philly, Cleveland, Miami in order 1 through 6.
Yep.
Do you see that coming to fruition? What do you think? 1 through 6. What are your thoughts?
This is the thing. I do have Milwaukee still going number 1, and that's okay. But to add some perspective to this, those are them same Milwaukee Bucks. I just seen them lose to the Hawks, the Spurs, and we just crickets today. Where we're always crickets when Milwaukee loses, and that was what happened. Chris Middleton come back. What, they lose to the Rockets? Y'all got to be consistent, okay? That's all I ask for when you guys come up here and speak consistency. Because I saw those same guys that you're talking about as such juggernauts, they losing to the low league teams too, okay? So I still have Milwaukee at number 1, and I had actually Boston at number 3. But, we'll see. I just think that Brooklyn is better than what people want to give them credit for because it's been crickets for at least a month or so. Nobody wants to talk about them. I think they're going to continue to move up. and they could potentially be number 2 or number 3. So we'll see how this goes. You know, the NBA is real fun right now, but the team I'm watching is Brooklyn. That's where I want to see where they land.
Yeah, Brooklyn's scary, y'all. I keep trying to say it, but people didn't believe me.
No, they don't, because they just love to hate on Kevin Durant. I don't know what it is about that man. That man is great.
Just to clarify, not to sound as like a Bucks supporter, but Chris Middleton came back in that Lakers game. They only lost 3 games since December 2nd, so it's not really a LOL Bucks right now.
I mean, but you still lost, though. You act as if when Chris Middleton came back, and that's what a lot of fans did. Oh, we're just going to run through everyone. And the fact is you didn't. The same as we had Robert Williams come back and we stumbled, and we're trying to figure it out. It's basically similar. So you can't call one out, not call the other.
I'm agreeing with that. That's what I was saying, though. I was agreeing.
Let's talk about Cleveland, who beat Milwaukee, right? Who's won 5 straight games now. I agree.
I was expecting more heat from everybody.
But Cleveland deserves some credit, man. That team is coming. That's the combo. It came out and punched Milwaukee in the mouth last night. Just punched them in the mouth and won the game.
Well, actually, we'll jump to that game next as I do the first read in the second hour, ladies and gentlemen. Already into the second hour.
I had a read in my rant. You didn't hear it?
No, you cut out, man. Like you had technical difficulties, and normally you do a phenomenal job. And I was like, man, that sucks.
I'm sorry, I had to read it there for you. Hoops,
I appreciate it.
I'm sorry, my bad.
Brought to you by slamgoods.com. Make sure you head over to slamgoods.com. Check this out. If you go over there, right, and you really need to splurge on a gift for somebody you love, if they happen to be like an Allen Iverson fan, you can pick up a pre-framed Slam magazine cover, like enlarged, that they can put on their wall for their love of Allen Iverson and the 76ers. It's $99. And if you use promo code HoopSpaces, you'll save almost $15. And $15 is way more than a proper cup of coffee. In fact, you could then go over to the HoopSpaces merch store and buy your own coffee mug to help support the cause. All right, we're going to go, though, to the pickup card game. We're going to talk some Bucks and Cavs. Up next after Bucks and Cavs, we will go in Raptors and Knicks, and then we'll go into Warriors getting trounced. What's up?
I'm back.
What's up? Hi, you're back. I was like literally in the read, directing the show. Appreciate it. And then we'll go into the Brooklyn Nets waxing Golden State, and then we'll talk about the greatness of Doc Rivers after some more basketball talk. So, pickup card game, floor is yours. Bucks, Cavs, and the thing that the Cavs have is the perfect matchup to Milwaukee compared to those other teams in the East, other than maybe Milwaukee, and that is because they can put out Evan Mobley and Jared Allen, who are 2+ defenders, 6'10" and taller. Let's talk about it because they did. They were without one of their players that they count on, and they had to start Isaac Okoro, and yet they still, like you said, punched Milwaukee in the mouth, took the cake home, and ate extra icing. What you got, Pickup?
Yeah, I mean, I think Cleveland's a very deep basketball team, right? In that first quarter, I think Mitchell had like only 4 points. He shot horribly, but Jared Allen was just doing his thing, eating rebounds and like getting steals and throwing it down. Garland played well in that first quarter. So I think Cleveland is a team that's slowly figuring it out and they're gelling, and that takes time over NBA season. But if they have like 2 guards like Garland and Mitchell, right, and then 2 bigs like Allen and Mobley, that's a tough team in a 7-game series to kind of knock out, right? And the bench is growing with Kevin Love and LeVert and guys sometimes like Cedi Osman plays well. So I think as the season is progressing, Cleveland to me is moving up that power ranking as a team which, I mean, Donovan Mitchell was worth every single draft pick, every player that Cleveland gave away. And I wish, as a Knicks fan, the Knicks got him because he's a game changer. So yeah, all I say is Cleveland deserves credit. Milwaukee lost the game, but it was more Cleveland won that game than anything else.
Yeah, I agree. And like the really cool part about Cleveland is that they have a couple of redundancies, and they can free up, let's say, $12 million in cap and go pick up a player that will help them down the stretch. Whether that's in Phoenix, where they can pick up Crowder to get some extra depth, or whether it's Kelly Oubre Jr., who I think the Cavs should actually go all out for. That's the guy I would target.
Can I ask can we have a little bit of a deeper conversation about Cleveland?
Yeah, sure.
Is that okay? Because I'm trying to settle where I feel about Cleveland right now. I had them as the 5 seed, and now I have them as the 3 seed. And I'm looking at them, and I really like the Evan Mobley, Jarrett Allen combination, especially come playoff time. And I remember Kevin Love being a defensive liability in the playoffs. And when I look at their bench, specifically the bigs that come off their bench, I find myself more concerned than at ease. But by the same time, I'm probably really higher on the guards, assuming Rubio stays healthy, than I probably should be. Like, I'm concerned about the wings from like a superstar talent standpoint, but in terms of like, can I get by with Caris LeVert? Can I get by with Isaac Okoro? I think that's fine. Initially, I was worried about how the parts would come together, and now I find myself sort of taking a look at that. I'll start with you, Pickup, and then I guess I'll go to you, Chris. Do you think that they're deep enough in the right places to really make a run this year, or do you think that this is going to be a year of figuring out, and we'll see them among the Milwaukees, the Bostons, the Brooklyns, like among that Eastern Conference kind of elite in a year? Or do you think they're still a trade away?
No, I mean, you just named off 4 players off the bat: Mobley, Allen, Garland, Mitchell. Right, that's 4 guys rotation-wise. Kevin Love will still give you buckets any day. So I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, and Kevin Love is a great backup big. So that's 5 guys right there. I like LeVert as a 6th rotation guy. And then to your point, 7 and 8, that's questionable. But to Chris's point, they can make a move, right? They have assets to make a move. But my question for them is always going to be sometimes about the health, right? And Darius Garland kind of reminds me of Kyrie in that he is great when he's out there playing basketball, but you never know when he's gonna be banged up for a little bit. So I do worry about that backup point guard spot. Like who is their backup point in case Garland goes down, right? And right now
Rubio's coming back.
Okay, cool. That's great. I mean, so if Rubio's back and is playing well and isn't a liability, then I think they're great. But I think if Rubio can be that dependable backup point guard, then I think they can contend with the Milwaukees, right, and the Brooklyns in the East.
Howell Neto is actually the backup currently, and what they tend to do is they stagger. They'll bring in Caris LeVert, and then that's when Donovan Mitchell goes heavy on ball, and then they'll bring Donovan Mitchell off, bring Darius Garland in. I think the biggest issue is that they don't have a shooter that is on the wing. The shots purely come from Garland and Mitchell, and if you're able to bottle one of them up, it's tough sledding. Until they learn how to play the offense through Evan Mobley in the middle, that's how it's going to be, and you can't really trust a team in a 7-game series if you know that all they can do is get their smaller guards around the perimeter and can't play offensively, through the bigs. And I think that'll be their downfall. What happens to help is when they do get a shooter that is not Okoro or Osman or even Love, because Love is coming in for Allen or Mobley. They need a Kelly Oubre who can give you nothing but threes and dunks. Like he would go along perfectly also with Caris LeVert as giving you 2 6'6", 6'7" wings off of the bench or starting, depending on matchups. Until then, I don't really see, even if they're healthy, I don't see them beating a fully healthy Boston team because I think Boston will have more shooting in the end. I really do. Or the Brooklyn Nets, who, again, I'm telling people are super scary. They're doing all of this without their shooters. So imagine when they get Seth Curry back healthy for 22 minutes and he's throwing up nothing but 8 threes per game and hitting 4. What happens when Joe Harris gets healthy and he's hitting, 4 for 7? It's going to happen. So until they know that they can go toe-to-toe with the shooting like that, I think they are firmly in the lead and the second-tier teams with Philadelphia. Like, let's just be honest. Again, Philadelphia has kind of the same problem. You don't have trustworthy shooting, and that's what's going to hold the Cavs up. Deej, your hand's up. Joe, your hand is up. We've got Sean with the W up here as well, and Damo as well. We'll get them. Deej, go
Just
ahead.
to piggyback and pick up where you left off about the Cleveland Cavaliers, it's why they're going to target people that are, to your credit, wing defenders that can stretch the floor. The Kelly Oubre's. Don't be surprised if they probably see what's up with Jay Crowder, because their defensive win rating for those three guys in particular, Donovan Mitchell, Jared Allen, and Evan Mobley, it's as a combination, as a trio, it's number 1 in the league. So they're probably going to try to find somebody that doesn't need the ball or that many shot attempts, that doesn't give up defense and actually hits a few threes. So they're probably in the market for that, for those guys, Kelly Oubre's, Jay Crowder, just to pick up where you left off.
Yeah, no, I agree. I would prefer Kelly Oubre. I think he's just more dynamic. Joe, go ahead.
I just wanted to make something clear. Micah said something earlier, like we came up here and we're celebrating a win over the Golden State Warriors and how they look, and saying how bad they look right now, and saying they need help and stuff like that. That is not what I'm doing. What I'm doing is that I'm coming up here to celebrate how my team looked against the Golden State Warriors. I'm coming up here celebrating. If anybody understand, a weeks ago, we went against the Philadelphia 76ers with no Joel Embiid, no Tyrese Maxey, and no James Harden. And we lost that game. And saying how we looked then into how we look now. We understand who we was playing. We understand there wasn't no Steph Curry. We understand there wasn't no Klay Thompson. And we understand, well, y'all could talk about Draymond Green's game last night. But what I'm not celebrating is the Golden State Warriors. Now, I don't know if everybody's trying to make Poole the next Stephen Curry, but he's just not it. He's a good shooter, but ball handling wise, he is not it. It's like 3 plays last night where he dribbled the ball off his foot. Like, it's just not. That's saying if that's what y'all waiting on, it's not happening. And like Chris will always talk about the greatness of Doc Rivers, and I got to give it to him because I looked at Steve Kerr coaching last night, and I had to say it wasn't no Doc Rivers greatness in it, So I just had to put that too. And and the other thing I wanted to celebrate is our coaching. Saying like we didn't have. Saying like he looked like Steve Nash last night. That's what I wanted to say about Steve Kerr. But saying I had to celebrate our coaching because Jacque Vaughn is doing a great job, and he got us work. He got us playing great. So saying even without Kyrie Irving, who everybody said now we need to win. So it's just I was celebrating how our team looked. It wasn't about what the Golden State Warriors were. That's what
I don't think that was Micah's intent. I'll try to get him up here in a bit once the floor opens up. But yeah, like you had a good win, and more importantly, like it was dominant in the first half, and that's where I think everybody's pulling the consternation is you don't. It doesn't matter who you play. These are pros. You're gonna play the person who lines up against you, and you drop 91 points on them in the first half. That's the issue. That is the wound that is getting salt poured into it this morning. We're going to go next to say good morning to my friend Damo. Damo, good morning.
Chris, I'm not happy.
Man, you got to get this Verizon thing fixed.
Damn it, pause.
Like, for real. Like, I don't understand. Like,
I got
people keep telling me Verizon's good, and it's just not.
Verizon. No shots at Verizon. His phone is just chopped, Chris.
Damo, you sound like you are listening to static. So it sucks because when we talk on the phone, it's totally fine. All right, well, he'll fix it. Sean, good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
What's up?
Interesting game last night at Madison Square Garden. I told all of you, like, this game stunk like toast. It stunk on cheese. I didn't like it. I said, me calling the Raptors mid all year, is going to come back to bite me in the ass. And when I saw that Quentin Grimes is out, I was like, here we go. There was nothing. Shout out to Spicy P. He balled out. He showed up. I said in the group chat that Julius Randle should be ashamed of himself, and I got some pushback. It was like, he didn't give up all the points himself. We can't put this all on him. And you're right, we cannot put this all on him. But at the same time, watching the dude that plays your position score 52 points, it's like you should have some shame and be like, damn, I let that happen. So the win streak is over. Hopefully we'll like to start a new win streak on Friday against the Bulls, but that game concerns me because we bitch slapped the Bulls twice last week, so they're going to be coming in looking for blood. And then we have Christmas Day against Doc Rivers and the Philadelphia 76ers. I actually was telling somebody that what would have really sucked is that if we had won the Raptor game, won the Bulls game, and then on national TV Christmas morning, high noon, and then we lose to the Sixers, and that would have been like, oh, see, we knew these guys weren't really about anything. Too many. Vision 69 was the concerns I had about it. Them being this lengthy, switchy team that would give Jalen Brunson fits, and it did. RJ played amazing yesterday. Shout out to him. Julius played amazing yesterday. Shout out to him. We just turned the ball over way too much. And I also now see what the Raptors fans mean about Fred VanVleet. That like they see him calling him selfish and stuff like that. Like down the stretch, he was taking some interesting shot. Like he hit the big shot to put him up 4, but he airballed one before that. That was a UFO before that. He also took another like ill-advised shot. Like I was like, I see what they're talking about. I see what they mean about him now. I pulled up to Raptors Live TV yesterday to take my medicine. Shout out to Fahim. Shout out to Nelly J. They welcomed me open arms. Jess tried to press me on saying that what I said about them being the worst team in the league, the worst fan base in the league. And I was like, no, you're not the worst fan base in the league. Everyone knows that I think that the Los Angeles Lakers are by far the worst fan base in the league. They are still in the top 5, though. But they're annoying, it's cool, though. It's cool.
It's cool that they're annoying. Shout out to Raptors Live TV, who is down below. Shoot them a follow.
Shoot them a follow for real.
Sean, can I ask you a question for real? Because I'm really
absolutely.
I'm liking the Knicks. I'm not no joking, right? I was really critical on them last year, and the reason I was because I'm like, no way. I don't care what they're doing. They're not going to the playoffs. This year, though, you guys actually have a legitimate shot of going to the freaking playoffs. How do you feel about that?
Well, I had them as a play-in team. I've actually bet money on them finishing in the play-in. So I always thought they were going to be 7th. Right now they're 6th. But the funny thing is, of the teams behind them, the only team that I think could jump them is the team that they played last night. Because I don't believe Atlanta's going to jump them. I don't believe Miami's going to. I have Miami and Atlanta in the play-in, and I believe Indiana's going to go back to being Indiana and get out of there. So at the worst, this team should be hosting a play-in game in April to get into the playoffs. And if not, probably being a 6th seed. The only thing is, I look at the teams above it. I'm like, I don't know who we would beat in those playoff series. Well, there's one that I think if I squint, we could pull it off, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Who's that? What team is that?
Would you like to guess?
Is that Brooklyn?
That would be your Cleveland Cavaliers that we just discussed. Pick up.
I'm a Knicks fan, but I mean, is it Cleveland, Sean?
I'm on mute. I'm an idiot. I'm on mute. Yes, It is Cleveland. That's the one.
There you go.
Milwaukee, no. Boston, no. Philly, no. Brooklyn, no. Like, I know some people are like, oh, we could say Brooklyn. No. Not while they have Kevin. So that will be the one.
By the way, to TJ and all of you North Carolina Tar Heel fans, if you don't understand, I only give the scores for the top 25.
Ouch.
Zing.
Sean, I got a question for you, though. Real quick question. Y'all lost to the Raptors last night, right? The Knicks.
Yes, Joe. That's what we've been talking about.
No, I just want to know how that feels because Brooklyn don't know how that feels this year. I just wanted to know.
Oh, so there you go. You got to work on your leads better.
That was poor. That's a strong 3
Yeah.
out of 10.
We're not lying. That was pretty bad, Joe. We'll get you better. Paris, man. I'm gonna go to you in a second.
Wait, hold on. That was nasty. Didn't they just lose? They lost to the Bulls. Like the Bulls beat the Brooklyn Nets at the beginning of the season. Stop bringing up stupid.
Well, we that's why we're moving on. We've got Bonkai who wants to add in something for Knicks. He's feeling it. Like he doesn't want to say he's feeling it, but I know he's feeling it.
I don't think any type of help will get that poor soul going with that terrible, oh, you lost to the Raptors? We don't know. I don't think there's any salvation for that poor guy. I will say, congrats to the Raptors. You won the game. I'm not taking anything away from them, right? Because at the end of the day, like we always say, you play who's in front of you, right? You play who's on the court. The reason why I brought up Quentin Grimes is because at the end of the day, he's still important, very important to what we do overall. So, yeah, I would have felt a lot better if Quentin Grimes had been out there playing defense and knocking down key shots because that's what he's been doing during this win streak, right? But that's not an excuse as to why we lost, right? Because there were other reasons why we lost. To me, the coaching, I feel like Tom Thibodeau got out coached by Nick Nurse in several facets of the game. You can't take that away from them, right? Siakam dropped 50. You can't take that away from them. Julius should have been better defensively, but I also think Tom Thibodeau should have sent out double teams at a certain point in the game. And just, as soon as Siakam touched the ball, you should have just been double teaming him. And why you didn't do that, I'm not sure, right? But yeah, I'm not going to take credit away from the Raptors. They won. We have a rematch coming up on January 6th.
I can tell you why he didn't, by the way.
Yeah, if you got a good reason, then just let me know. I don't mind. I just thought it was a bit silly that we did.
No, the real reason is because they said they were going to try to force Pascal to beat him by himself. They didn't trust that Scotty, Fred, and OG were going to hit their shots. They shot 26% from deep last night, man. They were not shooting well.
Yeah, what I understand. For me, personally, I would have liked him to be double teamed as soon as he touched it, just like they were doing to Jalen Brunson. Like pretty much whenever he touched the ball, there was like instantly almost another guy just shading him, which like made the game a living hell for him. But I'm pretty sure Jalen will watch a lot of tape about this and he'll learn from it and get better because that's the first thing he talks about. As soon as the game ended, they asked him a question how he felt, and he said, the loss is on me. I played like crap. And I love that about him because he acknowledges it and he just gets better from it. So,
well, you know who didn't play like crap?
RJ.
All y'all gonna be filling out that apology form, man. Like I've been telling you, all of you,
leave RJ alone.
All of you gonna have to sign that apology form. Whoever spoke out ill about RJ Barrett, I'm telling you now.
Hey, me, D, Sean.
I did. I spoke about RJ Barrett. Come on, Chris, stop it.
Me, D, Sean, we didn't say nothing about RJ Breeze. He's a little bit on the fence, although he's been trying to take
Why
some
you
of it
knocking
back.
everybody out, Bonkai? Leave it alone. People who know they need a sign, they know who they are.
My guy Jay from Florida. You're my guy. Nothing personal, but
he doesn't know.
Lou Dort. He was calling him Lou Dort. I don't know. He might need to fill out that apology form.
Golly. I tell you what, Bonkai, you wake up, man, and like you just choose one setting and you go. I appreciate that about you.
Hey, listen. At the end of the day, guys, I was salty, but it was in the moment. Not taking any credit away from the Raptor fans. Just point out the officiating was terrible in the fourth quarter.
Awful.
Both ways, like awful, man. Like, I don't know how RJ tries to go for a layup in the last few seconds, and he's getting hand checked by OG Anunoby and pushed in the same play, and he doesn't get a foul call. Are you kidding me?
Well, I tell you that like you can argue about the foul calls. I thought the foul call was atrocious the entire game personally, but that's just me. But we gotta move on. We have too much still to talk about.
You're right. You're right.
Anybody else want to hop in here with Knicks Raptors up on stage before we move on to the next
Let
game?
me know when.
And happy holidays, to you
Chris.
guys.
Let me know when.
Happy
let me
holidays,
know when you're
Barca.
talking about the Orlando Magic, because I don't want to talk about my beloved Knicks. But there was a defensive.
Deej will bounce back. Deej will bounce back. Keep your head up. Friday.
Okay, there we go.
There was a defensive player of the year candidate on the floor for the Toronto Raptors. His assignment was RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett had a 30-point game on him. So that's just to end that. But let's talk about that Orlando Magic whenever you get the chance, Chris. I'll shut up till then.
All right. Well, we got the Nets and Golden State Warriors up next. I tell you what, we will slide in the Magic right after that. But we do have Scotty in the building. That's right. Scotty's him is here. He is here to gloat. Scotty, go ahead.
Not here to gloat, actually. I mean, I was on cloud 9 yesterday. I'm not gonna lie. I was like the only one in the Raptors fan base who was with them during the bubble and the season after and all that. And it was just very poetic to see it all come together, come in forefront on the national stage at MSG. That's where stars perform. That's where stars have their career highs. That's where legends do what they got to do. So it's nice to see Siakam do what he had to do. I'm not going to lie. This might be a turning point for our season. These type of epic performances are what can shift the whole team's morale and put them on a path to success, unlike anything that they were moving towards before that. Just the way that you have a player like Pascal, he gets 52, 8 and 7 or whatever, and then you have Fred contribute, you have OG contribute. The rest of the players should know, get out of the fucking way, give the ball to Pascal, give the ball to Fred, give the ball to OG, and let these niggas cook. Let these guys be your veterans. Let them tell you what to do, because it seems like the young players weren't reacting how they should have been to the leadership of the guys who have been there and done it. So,
all right, Scotty, 2 things. Remember, it's recorded. I got to go back now and manually edit that.
My apologies.
Thank you.
Hey, Keenan, that's my dude.
But anyway, it was a nice game. I had fun. The Knicks are good, man. They're a good team. Shout out to RJ. He's from the ends. But yeah, respect.
All right, appreciate it, man. You were doing well, and then I'm like, I wish I had a 5-second delay so I could just go.
The biggest compliment that he said to Knicks fans that are in just total denial of Knicks PTSD is that it took a legend going into Madison Square Garden and dropping a career high in order for them to
snuck that in there too.
Yeah.
It was slick.
Very
Love
smooth.
it.
That's what legends do.
Yeah, see, he gets another point. And by the way, if you are new to the show, you don't know, the points mean absolutely nothing, but you have to get as many as possible. Otherwise, you fail. And you don't want to fail. So you want to try to get the points. So when you hear this, that's the point. Now, you can also lose points. That's the loss of a point.
Chris, I have a suggestion. Can we get some free merch if we get enough points, enough dings?
Show killer.
Also, one more other thing. Julius Randle, that layup at the end.
I ain't gonna lie, that was funny.
That was nasty.
All right, Bonkai completely derailed the show. But you know what? Sure, Bonkai, we can figure that out. My mind was trying to move along to the next game, and you just had to tap the screen. But we appreciate you coming in and listening, just like we appreciate every single one of you down below, all 115 of you. Welcome to Hoop Spaces. If you don't know, we're here Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. You should be here too if you like basketball. But as though I see 117 now wonderful human beings in here, there's only been 25 retweets of the show card.
Thank you.
This is the only currency that I can earn here, unless you are going to pay money, which, trust me, I would accept and enjoy. So if there's 100+ people in here, I would hope to at least get half, so that the other people out on Twitter themselves, and other maybe entities say, oh my gosh, look, they're always there. They're growing, thriving community of NBA fans that we want to take part in. That's how you grow. You don't grow by not doing stuff. By not doing stuff, you do the opposite of growth. You contract. Contraction is bad. It's worse than stagnation. All right. So please slam the retweet. Help me.
Shameless plug again. If you like Knicks content, you got Sean with a W up here. You also have Good Morning Knicks, Deej and Breeze. Feel free to give any of us Knick content creators a follow. Shout out to Malika too. Brooklyn Net Spaces. I see you.
Yeah.
What?
See, he's doing a good job of sneaking it in on my natural break when I'm trying to get a sip of water here. Shout outs to the other creators down below. We got Saint and Nets Kingdom, AJ, Brandon. You can catch them over on Nets Kingdom YouTube. Also here, post game Net Spaces, post game with everybody, pre-game hosted by one of the funniest dudes alive, Conspiracies and Flopaganda. Rels Pels from the Pels and Whistles podcast is in the building. Make sure you check her out, covering all things New Orleans Pelicans. We have 77 Spaces in the building with Rolo and Rolo and Jose. And then we'll get Jazz in from time to time. Justin Padden is in the building, our YouTube coordinator. Edwin Garcia over at Lakers Screen and Roll, LakersTakes.com on IG. Jasmine of Winsided covering the Dallas Wings for the WNBA. Raptors Live TV, our man Fahim for the win. I hope the kid is not screaming the ears. And I hope you have a blessed holiday. Nelly J with him hosting post-game Raptors spaces as well as live watch parties on Clubhouse. Right? These are people who woke up and one day said, I have an idea and a passion that I want to chase. Like, I want to be able to live this dream, and that dream is covering their favorite team. And all of these people have done this in their own way. And the only thing you need to do is support them. And then you can do that by just simply following them, engaging in the content. That's what we're here about. And we're brought to you by slamgoods.com. Head over to slamgoods.com. Use promo code HoopSpaces. Save 15% off of your entire purchase. And I'm going to tell you now, I told you so. Right? I told you so. What did you tell me about, Chris? Well, you know what happened? The Ray Allen Funko Pop is sold out. You will now never get the chance to buy that edition. You will have to wait for some savvy investor to want to make money. He went in and bought it for $20. You're going to have to buy $200. But there's still several left. Head over to slamgoods.com right now and pick you up the Jason Williams White Chocolate Slam Edition Funko Pop for $20. Watch your investment grow as well as your love for basketball. Slamgoods.com. Hoop Spaces, 15%. Boom. And I got I told you so in there. I'm getting good at this. Give myself a point. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the Warriors are bad without Steph. But we knew this. How bad exactly? How about bad? 143-113, Brooklyn Nets over the Golden State Warriors. Sean, you got something real quick, so I was going to open this up with Malika.
I would have been so effing upset if we had lost to that Warriors seed 2 days ago. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
It was clear. Shout out to Gifted. It was clear. I was like, yo, this team clearly has a ceiling. And
Yeah. All right. Appreciate it. To the victor go to spoilers, and to that we will go to Malika Walker. Perhaps Saint or AJ or Brandon can also come up here and gloat on the Warriors' demise as they hung 91 points, ladies and gentlemen. That is more points than 17 teams averaged in the 80s. Think about that. 91 points in the first half on way to a 143-113 victory. Shout out James Wiseman. And Patrick Baldwin Jr. and Moses Moody, the only bright spots of a dismal night for Golden State. James Wiseman, 12 for 14, 30 points. Patrick Baldwin, that kid is going to light this league up as a shooter. 17 points, 5 for 8 from deep. Moses Moody, 7 for 11 from the floor, 17 points. Jordan Poole off night, but that's more so because the Brooklyn Nets just stopped him. He could not do anything. 1 for 11 from deep. couldn't pass the ball to save a dollar. 2 assists, 7 turnovers, negative 31 in the box score plus minus. For Brooklyn, man, you would think here in 143 and 91 points that it would be a KD show. Nah, he spread the love. 29 minutes, 23 points, and a whole bunch of emphatic cheering on for the rest of his team because every Brooklyn Net that played scored, and every Brooklyn Net but 3 got into double figures. So you want to hear what I'm saying to you Golden State Warriors fans? Why I don't want to hear what you have to say about it. It's not like they were playing Kevin Durant and Kyrie 40 minutes. Kai didn't play. KD played 29. You got beat by the likes of Patty Mills, Edmund Sumner, Cam Thomas, Yuta Watanabe, TJ Warren. I don't want to hear it. Y'all lost bad. Real bad. Malika Walker, how did you see the game? What are your news and what notes from it, and what you got for us?
I'm glad that KD didn't. I'm glad we got the W, number one. I am glad that KD did not play over 30 minutes. That was something I was watching. I was hoping that he would. He didn't play the entire fourth quarter, and he played some minutes in the third. But, once the third was over, he was out the game. And I love that some of the other guys got some run because the game we played against the Pistons, a lot of people didn't show up. We got the W because of KD and Kyrie. A lot of them didn't show up, but everybody else showed up that played. And it was just a great win for them. I'm just glad for the W. Glad we kind of rested our top guys, and we got out of there. But in terms of, I'm hearing Warriors fans talk about all the injuries. The Nets have dealt with a lot of injuries or other issues over the past 3 years. And people love stomping on us, and they didn't give a damn about our injuries. We only could play the team that we lined up against. I am not going to sit here and gloat to that extent. Maybe Brandon and Saint want to do that. But I will say, I have no sympathy. But at the same time, I recognize who we played, but you only can play who you matched up against. So I don't have an extreme amount of gloating. Sorry to disappoint, but I'm glad we're continuing to win. It's important that we're continuing to collect W's. And because I got a feeling that after Christmas, as of Christmas and after, the NBA is going to be tough because teams are going to be fighting. And I think we are ready for the battle. So that's where I'm at. Joe probably got more.
We'll
Joe.
go.
I just want to see us at the end of the season keep up the momentum.
We'll go
right
to.
Now, doing too much gloating is not me. But go ahead. Go ahead.
We'll go to Joe next. Let's see, Joe, what's up?
I don't want to, saying gloat too much, but I just want to say that I just very excited about my team right now because I was just thinking if any Nets fan right now remember, like when we played the Boston Celtics, saying the number one team in the East when they a couple of weeks ago, everybody thought that was like, saying an automatic loss, like most of us did, saying it because, saying how they was playing. But as of right now, we about to play the Milwaukee Bucks. And I don't think any Nets fan think that's an automatic win. Like that's the dynamic of the team changed, and I thought that was just very special how everybody played. And I just want to give a shout out to somebody, Patty Mills. I got to give out a shout out to Patty Mills because like how many DNPs before he played before the Indiana game, and he played excellent and just came in and just became a professional. And then last night, like just came in again and just been a professional. I just want to give out the shout out to Patty Mills. And Kevin Durant is the best player on the planet, bar none. Stop
I appreciate it, Joe. Thought you had a little bit more. Like a whole lot. But hey, we are here. We are joined, though, by Brandon, one of the leaders of Nets Twitter here on the post-game spaces. You can catch him. Malik will be there. You'll also catch Saint from Nets Kingdom AJ, Conspiracies, T. Rexy, and the list goes on. Brandon, your turn to gloat. Go ahead.
Whoever the Knicks fan was saying that they didn't want to lose them 2 days ago Well, the Raptors lost to the Golden State Warriors over the weekend, and you guys just lost to the Raptors last night. So I'm not sure where you guys want to go from there. So that's pretty embarrassing.
Transitive properties do not apply in sports.
Oh, well, still, you let Siakam go for 52 on you, so that's still embarrassing all in itself. But yeah, I thought it was a good win. I'm not really scared of the Milwaukee Bucks or Cleveland Cavaliers. I do think we're better than both of them. I think Ben Simmons has something. We're going to see a different Ben Simmons tomorrow against Giannis, and it's going to be interesting to see if Giannis continues to try attacking Kyrie Irving, because even in the preseason game back in October, he dove on Kyrie Irving's legs 2 times that game. And this is going to be the very first game that the Milwaukee Bucks have faced us without Steve Nash as our head coach. So that's going to be interesting to see as well. There's going to be a lot of different stuff, but I think the Nets are trending in the right direction. We had probably the hardest schedule to start at the season. We're 20-12. We've had a nice little stretch here in the past couple weeks, but we only have 6 more back-to-backs throughout the entire season. We got rid of majority of them in the first half of the regular season. Look out for the Brooklyn Nets, because our schedule is very favorable for the rest of the season. So it's going to be scary for the rest of the league.
And that is Brandon, ladies and gentlemen. Malika is I'm Malika.
Shout out to
You'll be fine.
Shout out to Malika. If what Brandon said, because I'm a Knicks fan, November 1st, the Chicago Bulls beat the Brooklyn Nets. So I guess those same rules don't apply earlier in the season?
No,
they sure don't,
because there's a lot of drama going on. You know why? I understand. It's because, one, that was right after Kyrie Irving shared that post. He was mentally checked out that game. That was the very first. Steve Nash was fired less than a day before.
The stuttering, Chris.
There's no stuttering. Listen, what happened a week later when you came to Brooklyn?
Deej.
What happened?
This is going to be a hilarious time.
Well, they lost to the Pacers a few days ago. And we just beat
Malika,
the Pacers.
I'm so sorry for you being participant of this.
I guess we're better than the Nets because we beat the Pacers who beat you.
And then we beat the Pacers with 8 players, like 8 of our best rotation players out. So what do you say? Here we go.
Chris, this is how I end it. Man. Shout out to the Golden State Warriors for getting smacked in New York. That's the only thing that matters right now.
You know what? I think
Chris, when the Knicks beat the Nets for the first time in like 6 years, then they can talk to us. But beat us first, please.
No.
Beat us first.
So this is oh my God. Yeah, this is what I'm gonna do. You know, it's time for trivia, and we're just gonna do general trivia, okay? Like, this is not hard, and what I need is for somebody who's up on stage to be willing to do some trivia. You might be embarrassed, but like, if you're embarrassed, it's not because of me; it's because of you. Just want to let you know, general trivia. Like, kids can get this.
I got you, Chris.
All right. Sean came through first. We'll do Sean first and Brandon second. All right, Sean, are you ready? Here are your questions. How many legs does a spider have?
8.
What is the name of the toy cowboy in Toy Story?
Woody.
What is the color of an emerald?
Green.
Nice. All right. What is something you hit with a hammer?
A nail.
Nice. All right. Last one for round 1. How many planets are there in our solar system?
See, this is all right. When I was in school, there were 9. So as far as I'm concerned, there are 9. I don't give a fuck. Nope, there's 9.
That is incorrect.
Excuse my friend.
I stand
there's
with
9 of
Sean
them.
on that
There's
one.
9 of them.
I stand with Sean.
There's 9 of them. I don't give a rat's ass. There's 9 of them.
Okay, you would be incorrect, but hey, it happens. All right, good job. 4 and 1.
Matter. He said when he was in school, And I agree with
I said
him.
when I was in school, there
Shouldn't
were
that
9
count?
planets.
They
No,
lied to us when we were in school.
they did not lie to you. Science is not a linear existence. Thank you. 4-1. Let's see if Brandon can do better than 4-1, ladies and gentlemen. Brandon, you've got to go 5-0. Are you ready?
Possibly.
All right. That's what I like to hear. I should give you a point, but I can't. That would be cheating.
You can give me a point.
All right. What's the response to the phrase, "see you later, alligator"?
Bye.
Now you got to get off 4. What? According to the Dr. Seuss book, who stole Christmas?
The Grinch? The Grinch Saint.
What?
Saint is the Grinch.
What do you use to write on a blackboard?
Chalk.
Where is the Great Pyramid of Giza?
Egypt.
How many days are there in a leap year?
366.
All right, there you go. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a tie between Sean and Brandon.
I won
so
because you gave me a point before, remember?
No.
Yes,
no,
you did.
Can I go? Can I beat them both?
Oh, you want to go with Kill? Okay. All right.
I just want to say real quick, Chris, this was smooth.
Perfect deflection.
And you know what? That's why you are.
Thank you.
Who you are? Chris.
Wow,
elite
hosting you never give me that type of compliment.
So we're
Yes,
back
I
with
do,
Akil. Akil wanted to hop in here. Akil, I am ready. Are you ready?
Let's go.
When was the idea of the atom first introduced?
That's a beggar.
That's what I get, and they get that?
When was the idea of the atom first introduced?
That wasn't even fair. Brother, it's got to be BC, like 200 BC. I don't know.
It's 1930.
450 BC.
All right, cool.
An earthquake that measures 8 on the Richter scale would be how many times stronger than an earthquake that measures 4 on the same scale?
Chris, gotta be like 8 divided by 4. It can't be
Chris,
2,
but
I want to say 2.
What are you doing, Chris? What is these questions?
10,000 times stronger.
All right, bro. I'm out.
Give me the rest of his. Give me the rest of his questions. I'll knock them out the park.
No. What Chris was doing was showing don't get in the way of a one-on-one where you get double the trouble. That was wild, Chris.
What is the gestation period of a hippopotamus?
Come on, Sean. Where you at?
Where you at, Sean?
Hold on. I actually know this because it's shorter than a human's. It is
He ran out of time. That's a
It's
fail.
7 months.
8 months.
Damn it.
In what type of matter are atoms most tightly packed?
Brandon, you got this one since you jumped on the dick.
Solids.
You can't just volunteer me.
Akil is correct. Akil is correct.
I took chemistry. Yes, sir.
Okay. Last question. In 2004, what was discovered on the island of Flores in Indonesia?
Malika, you got this one.
For all of you who like J.R. Tolkien, you should be slamming to answer this question.
Wasn't it the wasn't it like the Little Humans?
Yeah, I can't give you a better hint than that. And Little Humans does not qualify. Remains of a hobbit-sized human, one that stood no more than a meter tall. 13,000 years ago. Well, no, that's different. That's dwarfism. I'm sorry. I don't make the rules. I'm just here.
And Chris is a nerd, so he really enjoys these trivia moments. And he
that
is
was
proud
really good.
nerd because he has a son that's a genius.
Yeah.
So
Well, Akil helped me out because he walked into that one. Shout out to Akil. That took some guts, some gumption.
I just came, man. Look, I volunteered for the first grade trivia,
No,
not
you
with
didn't. You
Adam
just volunteered. Like that's a lesson we learned in the military real fast.
I fell into it. That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. All right, but you are here, and we want to say welcome. Do you have any thoughts on the Brooklyn Nets and Golden State Warriors before we go ahead and move over to Micah real quick, and then we'll talk how the Pistons put forth a valiant effort and against the Sixers.
I think the biggest thing is the Warriors need Stephen Curry back yesterday. I think we can all agree amongst that. And that I think they went in on the kids like way too early, like a year too early probably, like trusting them to be like the quote unquote next second generation or whatever. The second timeline is what they like to say over there in the Bay Area. I don't think they're ready yet. I think they needed some more time, but they went in on the kids, I think, a little too early. So now they're kind of stuck. So that's fun. But the Nets are good. The Nets are good at basketball. KD's good at basketball. Yeah, that's all there is to it, really.
All right, cool. What do you got working on, man? What are you working on?
Man, right now, actual work. But side work, I don't know yet. I'm kind of interested in different things around the league right now. I kind of like the Bucks a little bit. I'm very intrigued with what Joe Ingles does, like as a basketball player, like what he could add, possibly. But that and just I think like the level of like what I like in the T-Wolves too. I really like Rudy without Cat. They got to trade Cat, by the way. I don't know where he goes.
I've been saying that too.
I like Rudy without Cat quite a bit. Brooke Lopez has been really fun to watch too if he could stay healthy.
He was real fun to watch last night.
Yeah, listen, man. This is the thing. Beating an NBA team 3 times in a regular season is really hard to do. Like, you could simply tell, like, the Cavs actually cared a little bit more about winning the game than the Bucks.
Jared Allen killed that man.
Like, you could just straight up tell from, like, the beginning of the game the Cavs actually wanted to win, and the Bucks were like, it is what it is. But, yeah, just kind of just, like, bobbing around, just kind of seeing what's out there.
All right. We'll go to Micah next. Micah, hopefully, and by the way, for those who don't know, you might have to drop out and come back in. There's been some glitches for like about the last half hour where people are dropping off in terms of audio. I can't tell you what they are doing are mini patches. They put out one main patch that was Spaces specific, but like there's so many bugs they've been trying to hot fix it, and it's just it's not working right. Micah, go ahead.
Yeah, real quick. So, what are you talking? Look, I don't care if it's against the Pistons or the Houston Rockets. You don't poo-poo any kind of win. You should always be happy that your team wins. And, yeah, it is kind of funny to see the team that's held pretty much everybody hostage get shellacked like that. So, yeah, it's funny. But, anyways, no, they are really coming together. And you know what? I had to ask. I need to ask Nets fans about this because I haven't watched that many of their games. But, like, our offensive sets have fallen off of a cliff. And I was wanting to ask, do you feel like y'all are running better offense? And the reason I'm asking is because y'all picked up Igor, and I'm wondering if that has had an impact on how y'all run offense.
All right, that was to a Nets fan, right? Brandon, Malika, Joe, y'all want to take that? No?
I think it's more Coach Vaughn's his offense. I really don't know about Igor and his offense, but they was running it with Steve Nash, so I don't know. So maybe I think it's more Jacques Vaughn, but it could be. But
all right, Brandon or Malika, if you heard the question,
can you repeat the question?
You want to answer? Yeah, Micah, go ahead and repeat it.
I was just wondering if y'all feel like since getting Igor, if that's had any implications on how y'all run offense, because like it just seems like my Mavericks, like they can't draw up a play to save their lives as far as offense. It's just pretty much Luka is good and hope he performs a miracle. And and it didn't look that bad last season, so I'm wondering if Igor has had any impact on how y'all run offensive sets, in your opinion?
It's strange. It's actually very strange. I thought he had a lot more impact in the preseason than he has in the regular season. We were running like Spain offense, motion offense, pin downs, a bunch of different stuff in the preseason that just stopped once the regular season hits. We do a lot more pin downs, a lot more screens than we did last season. I think he has some impact, but it's not as great as you would think it would be. But it's funny that Igor left because it's exposing how bad of a coach Jason Kidd is. I told this people last season when Dallas, you guys were going on your run. He ran the exact same offense as the Nets did. Literally just straight ISO ball. And you guys just had Luka Doncic there to, clean up all that, make it look pretty. But when you guys lost Brunson, that and a couple other pieces, that really hurt you guys. And now you're just seeing the side effects and how bad of a Jason Kidd coach team is, because he doesn't make adjustments. He doesn't do anything. He just runs ISO plays, and that's really about it. I saw it with the Nets when he was the head coach. He has not improved at all over the years.
All right. I agree. Paris, hop in here, and I think Sean, his hand was up, doing a couple of messages back and forth. I got one to come up here at 12. I talked about it last week. I want to go ahead and spend a couple minutes talking about it now. Paris, you're up.
What's up, everybody? Warriors fan here. But listen, let me be honest and give the Brooklyn Nets their credit. They're definitely the most interesting team, in the Eastern Conference by far. Just through the summer right now, Kyrie is the number 1-2 in the league. Like, argue me on that, right? Like, so these guys are stacked. They could get back, they could get to the NBA Finals. You got the Boston Celtics and you got the Milwaukee Bucks. Boston Celtics know what it is over here in California with the Golden State Warriors. They already know what it is. Everybody scored, like Chris said earlier, on the Brooklyn Nets game last night, which was phenomenal. If you really think about it, they almost could have beat anybody, whoever they played. And I want to say everybody got a positive except for like Curry and this one random Asian dude that's really actually good. Shout out to all 3 Asian dudes that go for the Nets. They're very important. Brandon, you're one. Watanabe's the other, and the owner. And y'all about to run this shit. So it's just a beautiful thing to watch, man, because I want the Nets to be in the NBA Finals. And if the Warriors get their ish together, I want them to face the Golden State Warriors. Curry was obviously out. There's no excuses, right? Draymond didn't play well at all. We really need him to get going, and we really need somebody to take his place because, like I said, that guy's getting older. Poole got locked up. Like I said, great job by the Brooklyn Nets, and we want to get Clay back. Man, Wiseman getting that 30 points last night. He must have heard us, Sean and Chris, talking about him. But I'll be honest and say it. That was the ugliest 30 points I've ever seen in my life. You know what I'm saying? Because we ended up getting beat by.
Well, when it's garbage time in the second quarter, I mean,
Right. And I'll say this, and I'll end it here. The Golden State Warriors only got 1 block last night, and it was Wiseman, and we lost by 30. So, like I said, his footwork got to get better. We had to play better defense. But like I said, no disrespect to the Brooklyn Nets. They came in and did what they had to do. That was a phenomenal shooting performance by them. And like I said, Kyrie didn't even play. You feel me? And it wasn't like KD went for 40. Like, everybody contributed. So, shout out to the Brooklyn Nets.
Can I ask the Golden State Warrior fan a question?
And just for clarification, his name is Yuta Watanabe. Please, try to remember the name.
Hey, man.
Don't need to throw generalities and have them misunderstood. I know what you meant. No offense, but it could have been deemed.
I watched that Japanese dude. I love him playing, bro. Are you kidding me? Like, I love watching him. Shout out to all coaches.
Yeah. I appreciate it, Paz.
I love everybody, by the way. But go ahead with the question.
Thank you, Paz. What was the question, Joe?
I just wanted to know how he thinks Steve Kerr did.
What do you mean?
As a coach.
He has 4 championships. Oh.
Last night.
You said last night? Wiseman got 30 points.
There you go. I like the answer. That's a good answer. He got 30 points because that's the truth. Sean, hop up in here.
No, I'm good. I'm good. I remember. I just it's funny that when KD and Kyrie went to Brooklyn, I was told there will be multiple parades down Flatbush. But now apparently, instead of going for the championship of the NBA, it's the championship of New York. That's the only one that matters, it seems, because can't really get the real championship.
But we don't care about the championship of New York. Y'all can have that.
Well,
Sean cares a lot more.
Brandon brought it up.
I don't. Okay.
I didn't bring it up. I just say before you guys talk to us, just beat us once, please.
So the championship of New York matters to you.
No.
Moving
I'm
on.
Just saying, you guys are so obsessed with us that you guys continue to talk crap about the Nets and continue to put yourself on our level, but you guys haven't beat us in like 4 years.
And you still have won nothing.
Like I love the fact that 2 teams in New York have yet to win anything. Like that's why I stay out of it because my Sixers ain't winning nothing either. Like you don't see me popping off because I know what my future holds.
These Nets fans can't keep our name out of their mouth. They're like, oh, you can't beat us in the regular season. Like that's not the goal, bro.
Some Net fans, I could care less about.
Real quick,
you wouldn't be able to beat us in the playoffs either.
Chris, can I play?
All right, so check this out, everybody. I'm just gonna do this because I have the power of this mute button, and I can hit the mute button whenever I actually feel like it, and I think it's warranted right now. Right now, what we're seeing is New York on New York violence. Like violence is not the answer, ladies and gentlemen. Right? You know what is the answer? The answer is a full-fledged, open discussion about the positives and negatives of each team. That's what we're here for, ladies and gentlemen, and maybe a little bit of fan violence too. I'm not going to lie. But if you look up above, another team that a lot of people love to hate, they're winning, even though they've lost 3 in a row. That's the Boston Celtics. And then tonight, if you are a Celtics fan or if you are a fan of basketball, you might have the ability to win an interview with Derek White right after the game. Thanks to the FansView app, who we've partnered with last week for the Mikal Bridges interview. So check this out. If you are a content creator and you are struggling possibly getting your name in the accreditation ring of the NBA, download the FansView app, put a bid in or do a reaction video and get upvoted so you can win a chance to submit your question or even actually do the interview. There is a cost, right? If you use the link that is in that tweet, you save half off the cost. There's a free version. So you don't even need to pay if you just want to watch the community and watch the interview. But if you do want to actually live this life, right, even as a fan, check out the FansView app. You can download it in the App Store. All right? Cool. It's pretty cool that I can say that now. Slamgoods.com also needs to be mentioned here because we are entering the 3rd hour, ladies and gentlemen, and I express upon you the wondrous nature of a child's inquisitivity and love of all things, and I urge you to pick up the pickup card game specifically for your kid. It's a great way to get in them, both boys and girls, into the game of basketball. It's actually 2 versions now. You can play the full 30-minute game or even the quick 2-minute warm-up, right? And on top of that, not only is it fun, it helps teach them math, quick calculation, sneaky good life skill. Pick up card game over at slamgoods.com. Use promo code HoopsSpace to save 15%. Wow. I even did it in the non-antagonistic voice. Hopefully now everybody's blood pressure kind of, subsided a little bit. As we still have some basketball to talk about, specifically now, the Houston Rockets losing to the Orlando Magic, who took Division 6-9 and made it Division 6-11. The Rockets, ladies and gentlemen, are the Rockets. I've already apologized enough for them. I will apologize again. If you were one of those people unfortunate enough to put them on your league pass rotation because of what I said, my apologies. Really, because sometimes it's a hard watch. But last night, they actually did perform fairly well, putting up 110. They were pretty well balanced across the board in terms of touches, except once again, Kevin Porter and Jalen Green dominated the back end of the game. That is when I think Houston just kind of ran in circles, and Orlando extended their lead in the fourth quarter to victory. Orlando had Bol, Marquez Fultz, Moritz Wagner, his brother Franz Wagner, and Paolo Banchero, making Marquez Fultz, ladies and gentlemen, the 6'5" guard, the smallest starter for the Orlando Magic. They then brought off the bench everybody who was taller than him except for Cole Anthony. Have the Magic figured it out? Is the question here. They have now won 6 of their last 7. They are scoring more, and they are playing tenacious defense. We will go first to Deej and then Brandon. We're talking Magic and Rockets. Up next, we'll do Bulls and Hawks because both of those teams are in serious trouble. We'll talk about it. Deej, you're up.
I'm so happy that we get to move on from shameless violence, man. The Brooklyn Nets are really good. That's all you need to know. But the Orlando Magic, Chris, and I'm glad that we finally get to talk about them on a higher prestige. They have so much defensive versatility across the board, and it's not just with Banchero and Franz Wagner. It's with all the players that you just named. And I think, they're maybe 3-4 games out of a play-in. It'll be very interesting to see what they tend to do about the trade deadline. But I just wanted to ask everybody, what is your expectations of what this Magic team can be now that you have seen at least 30 games of it? Because I think that they're kind of dead in the middle of what a good playoff team would be statistically. They don't rank high in any category, really, to be honest with you. But they're just young, and they're just winning games on pure talent. They haven't learned a damn thing yet, Chris. So what is your expectations of what this version, now that we've seen 30 games in? I think they could contest for a play-in. It'll be really interesting. So I want to hear everybody's thoughts on that.
That's a real good question. Go ahead, Blanca.
Personally, I think they are what at least myself and some people thought what the Detroit Pistons were supposed to be, I guess, in terms of being a young, fun, energetic team that could, still win against some good teams and maybe find themselves in the play-in somehow. I think that's what they were supposed to be. My opinion, though.
It's an open question to everybody, so feel free.
Yeah, hop in with your answers. It's a difficult question because you're talking now with a team who's 9 games below 500, 7-3 in their last 10, 6-1 in the last 7. They're on an upswing. How long does this upswing last is really the question. And can they actually make up enough room? Now, math will tell you yes, because they're only 9 games out from first, from 500, and that would put them in the bottom half for the play-in. The question is, what team drops out? Is it Toronto? Because I don't know. I don't think it would be Toronto. Is it the Pacers? Probably the likeliest bet, especially if Tyrese Halliburton were to go down. Could the Hawks implode? Well, we're looking at that real time. But there's a lot of work the Magic have to do to even get there, right? And I think that's the problem. So you're already 9 games out just from that. And then that means you're going to have to play at least a 500 pace +1. So you're talking about them winning 56% of the remaining games. And math will tell you no. That's how I see it. Without any fallout.
I agree.
Now, if Indiana, Tyrese Halliburton gets hurt, they're going to fall apart. I like Nembhard as a rookie, but there's just not enough there. Maybe that happens. Maybe Siakam goes down again. Or Fred VanVleet could go down. That changes the dynamic, right? Maybe Jimmy goes down or Bam goes down and the Heat completely crater and tank. I don't expect that to happen. But this is actually why, like a lot of coaches will tell you, you can't win the season in the first 15 games, but you sure as hell can lose it. And like if you look at the first 15 games for the Orlando Magic, it was brutal. And this is what they have to live through now, which is the opposite of the Wizards, who started out what Orlando I thought was going to start out as, and then inevitably became the Washington Wizards. Brandon, go ahead and hop in here.
So I do want to touch on their start to the season and how they're doing now. But we got to first and foremost, I'm going to give Jamal Mosley a lot of credit. He has those guys playing hard for 48 minutes. He's putting the right lineups in. He's just a really good coach that's maximizing the talent on that team. So Jamal Mosley is one hell of a coach. But Orlando, to start out the season, yes, they started, I think it was like 0-7, 1-8 or something like that. But they were in a lot of those games. They were just so young that they couldn't close the games because you think Cole Anthony was out, Markelle Fultz was out. They had their veterans pretty much were out of the lineup, especially Terrence Ross. So they were just so young, they just couldn't close the games that they were winning. So they folded down the stretch. That is a big reason why they started out the way they did. Once they started to figure out how to win ball games and started understanding what it takes to close out games, that's when they started winning games. I said this when they were struggling. I said, this is a team that's going to compete for a play-in tournament because, one, Jamal Mosley is a really good coach, and they have a ton of young talent. So, in my opinion, I think they will be competing for that play-in spot.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's possible. I just, to keep the pace, you just have to have faith, I guess. But Jamal Mosley is doing a fantastic job despite what the record is. Because if you remember, they started out also injured. Cole Anthony missed time. Markelle Fultz didn't start the season. Apollo went down at one point. Their starting point guard was R.J. Hampton, who's more of a combo two, who's also kind of been moved around the league, being traded from one team to the other. Terrence Ross was getting minutes, and then Terrence Ross wasn't getting minutes. Bobo, it took guts to put Bobo out there, and he stuck with them, and Bobo has been fantastic. The only question that I also have is once the league figures them out, what's their next move? Because I don't really see a change up coming. Right now, they have size and playing hard. I'm not really yet convinced that they could play a 7-game series or beat a team that is, a veteran-laced team in the play-in. Could it happen? Yeah, I would shade against it. That's just me. Pickup, did you have anything you want to add?
Not really. You covered it, Chris.
All right. We're also getting people, if you get off the stage, it's not me cycling through, dropping people like flies. It's all good. All right. If you're down below, I want to say thank you for making any part of your day part of Hoop Spaces. I hope that you're enjoying your Thursday. If you are like me, we are bracing for a winter storm. I hope that you have everything that you need. Don't go out unless you have to. Because it's dangerous out there. And remember, snow equals slick. I have lived in so many states. I am telling you now, the majority of you think you can drive in inclement weather, and you are mistaken. You cannot. You are a very bad driver. Bankai, I know that you don't use the phone while you drive, right? You're a good driver. You're driving safe. How are you, and what are your thoughts as we get ready to move on to the Bulls and Hawks?
Well, I'm not driving at the moment.
Give me the phone. This man loves your show because we're driving and I'm in the passenger seat and my life is at risk. And he's one hand on the wheel and one hand on Hoop Spaces. And then he's screaming and yelling. And I'm like, yeah, today's the day we die.
Oh, my gosh, Bankai.
Oh, thank
you.
Bankai. Drive safe. Give her the phone. You can put a Bluetooth thing in. Like,
thank you.
I'm a good driver. I don't need to hear this.
Yeah. All right. You
Anyway,
might want to go on mute for a few minutes, man. She's winning this one. I'm trying to help you out. Like, you remember that Jamie Foxx bit when he's saying, "I'm your conscience"?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's me right now, subliminally. Pick up a Bluetooth thing. It's like $15, my guy. Just do it.
I couldn't find my AirPods. That's really.
You know, if you are doing Bluetooth, both of you can be involved in the conversation far easier.
She needs to start using her own Twitter account.
This man is narking out everybody. First it was Knicks fans, and now it's his significant other. He's out of control. Show killer.
Listen, when the Knicks lose, everyone gets it.
Hey, at least you ain't lying. All right, give her the phone or put us on Bluetooth because you need to focus on driving.
We're actually not driving right now. So
okay.
Before, but I was gonna say how interesting it is that the Orlando Magic have so many trade pieces in the form of players. Not only I guess I don't know what their pick situation is, but in terms of players, Terrence Ross, Gary Harris, RJ Hampton. What's this? I saw the rumor today about Mo Bamba. Like they want a first for Mo Bamba, and I'm pretty sure this guy has no value. But I'm also maybe 90% certain they won't keep him. And Jonathan Isaac, I don't know what they're gonna do with him. I just feel like his time there has run out. But I just don't see who would want to trade for him. But if you want to throw his name out there, I guess you could put his name there.
Personal life choices aside, like he is a unique basketball talent. The issue is he hasn't played in a while, and he's injured the same. He's had injuries, twice.
The last time he played was pre-COVID, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, I want to say he might have gotten in a couple of games, like preseason. I don't know. I'll have to look that up.
That's actually outstanding, man.
But if you want to give the credit to Coach Jamal Mosley, as some people have, you also have to give credit to the two following people. John Hammond is the Orlando Magic GM, and Jeff Weltman is the general president. Is the president, yeah. And both of them, what's funny is they kind of look exactly how their name sounds. Like if you saw them, you'd be like, you know what? Yeah. But they are pretty much underrated, and they come out of several trees. Like Jeff Weltman worked with the Pistons when they were building. He helped build the Nuggets as the assistant GM, and also the Milwaukee Bucks and the Toronto Raptors. Huge track record of success. And then John Hammond is he's been in the game forever. He's also got an NBA Executive of the Year award. And like a lot of fans just don't cover the front office because for whatever reason for y'all, it might not be sexy. I do because I enjoy it. And this was the first time that I said, okay, wait a minute. Maybe they're actually trying to take it seriously in Orlando because they had actually hired people with proven track records who when they gave their address of the team, gave a clear, distinct, measured, goal-oriented approach on how they wanted to build the Orlando Magic. And they did that first by hiring Coach Mosley. And when they hired him, they said all the right things. We're not expecting to turn around and win immediately, but why we picked him is we saw how he ended up developing Luka and other young players and other current established players. So like they had a plan in effect. So, shout out to them.
Hey Chris, if we're talking coaches, man, and you had mentioned before Dwayne Casey in Detroit, and how whether or not we think that he might move to a front office role, right? And then they'll find a better coach who can work with their current talent. I look at Houston, and I wonder the same for that situation, right? And I don't know if they have the right coach for that talent, or if the guy in place is better as being a front office guy, right? And kind of building that culture of the team. But from an X&O standpoint, I wonder about Silas as a coach in Houston.
I've said this before, and I now feel bad because of the passing of his father, Paul Silas, an NBA legend. as a player and a coach, and a strong advocate for Black voices in the hierarchy of the NBA. I said that the Houston Rockets did him no service. I didn't think he was ready at the time to be a head coach, despite basically living in the world of NBA basketball almost his entire life. Being a head coach is extremely difficult. It's one of the hardest jobs in any career-oriented profession. Like, you are really going to lose. The majority of these guys lose. And people don't really pay attention and understand that it actually is very, very, very difficult to win in the NBA. Like we opened up the show explaining, we went 20 years with the Spurs, Lakers, Warriors, and LeBron James in the finals. Like, we had one final without any of the men, and it was Phoenix and Milwaukee. It is hard to win. Like, people make fun of my Doc Rivers season-long emphasis of he's a great coach. But you know what? Name me coaches that are better. You can't, because it's hard to win, and he's won. And like, when you look at what Silas is going through, he might have had a chance, kind of like maybe J.B. Bickerstaff or Wes Unseld Jr. had they given him a team that was already kind of put together with a veteran presence instead of a full open-blown rebuild. Where there is no culture. He's responsible for building the culture, and then the question always was, does he have the requisite experience to do so? And then, like, the X's and O's factor, I personally think Jabari Smith Jr. needs to get 16 shots per game, and he can barely get 11, and that is more of an indictment on the coaching staff. So whether it's player development or whether he has an offensive coordinator like the Brooklyn Nets do with Igor, I don't know. But it is something that is it's a shame, because I don't think he gets another chance, a la Jacques Vaughn, who the Orlando Magic hired to try to bring that Spurs magic, but didn't set him up for success. And if we see, if it wasn't for him being an assistant coach in the Nets, I can pretty confidently say I don't think Jacques Vaughn gets another head coaching gig. Because of what he went through in Orlando. Do I think that's fair? Absolutely not. In the NBA coaching world, is similar to playing. It's about opportunity. And am I happy that he has it? Absolutely. And I hope he makes the best of it. Just like Stephen Silas, I just don't see it ending well. All right.
That's real. That's real. That's real.
Yeah, like, I mean, look at Billy Donovan, who won in Oklahoma City, and a lot of people say this because Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, he's won in stretches in Chicago, and then, Lonzo Ball, shout out to Lonzo Ball, just bad story. He's injured, and they can't put it together. And the question always was, when he came out of Florida, is he an actual good NBA coach? And we're going to find out. Like, to be a good NBA coach, you're going to go through, if you have a star player, times like what's going on in Atlanta and times that are going on in Chicago. And that is full circle, ladies and gentlemen, as we get in to the Chicago Bulls beating the Atlanta Hawks 110-108. See what I did there? That was smooth. I'm going to give myself a round of applause. I'm telling you now, both teams are in disarray. A lot of people will try to say it's not as a big deal. But if we are talking about it, it happens to be a big deal, because if we're talking about it, it means it's broken mainstream media. And just now, Bleacher Report put out that there could be a demand for a trade if inroads aren't made into the playoffs, coming out of Atlanta with a picture of Trae Young. I think it's a little hyperbolic at this standpoint. And I stand on what I said before. Going to the Eastern Conference Finals was the worst thing that happened to this team, because it put undue expectations on a young team that had yet to forge a true identity. We got one new person up on stage, Rare Dominance. Rare, what's up, man? Good morning.
You just took the words right out of my mouth. I've been saying that for the past 2 years. I was like, us winning and making it to the East Conference Final was the worst thing, because I told folks, I was like, why they going to speed up the timeline? And they just started getting rid of folks. And now, man, I live in Atlanta, and it's like watching the Hawks, it's horrible. And like, me and my friends had this discussion all the time, and it's like, they try to put the blame on one person. I'm like, we have no identity. We have games where we done had like 7 or 8 of the last game. We've been up like 15 points and lose. Like as a fan, you get to the point where you get to the fourth quarter and they be like, how are we gonna blow this game tonight? Like, that's just what it is. So, like, man, I've been telling folks that for years because the problem, I tell folks, the problem with the Hawks is we develop players individually, but we never develop as a team with Lord Pearson. Then once we got Nate McMillan and we went to East Conference Final, it just sped up the timeline, and now this is where we at. And, like, PS stepping down, and I hear from ownership, it's like, they want to go one direction, and he wanted to go another. So man, it's in a disarray in a level. You're right. I would agree with you on that. It's bad.
And you know, we in the Hoop Faces group chat, we were talking about this yesterday, and it's about John Collins, and I love John Collins out of Wake Forest. I love the tape. I love the jump shot. I love the hustle. A 6'9" big who can put it on the floor for a one dribble jump shot, get you a catch and shoot. Not supposed to be super efficient at it, guys, because he's a true 4. Yet somehow he's regressed, and it's not the talent. Like the kid, the young man, is still a young man. And like I just wonder why it seems arbitrarily that they've kind of moved off of John Collins, despite going 20-10, despite going 17-9, and he's getting less and less. And as we see him get less and less, we see the Hawks be less effective, and we end up seeing like this Trae Young mid pick and roll, high pick and roll spam, and then that was supposed to end with the addition of DeJounte Murray, who I then still stand by is the better basketball player than Trae Young, because DeJounte Murray is supposed to have the ball in his hand, and that allowed Trae Young to develop the off-ball game that is needed to make this offense work. And what we've seen so far is John Collins get relegated to 4th status and oftentimes 5th as a starter behind DeAndre Hunter, if he's having a hot night, or Clint Capella, rim rolls, or in the case of yesterday, Onyeka Okongwu, right? Then he has now rookies on the bottom who are going to challenge him because they are simply better three-point shooters, a la AJ Griffin. And then, like I asked, what do you want to do, Atlanta? Because when you started building, it was, we're going to dominate rebounding and run with Trae. Clint Capella is going to get you a double-double. John Collins is going to get you 9 to 10, and then we're going to get out in transition, and then we're going to have Trae Young, who's supposed to be able to be the next, quote, Steph, the next, quote, Zeke, the next, quote, greatest point guard on the floor. And what we're finding now is volume 9 for 24 shooting and little else to show for it. So that's how I see it. There's huge problems, and I'm starting to wonder, is John Collins the one who was right all along?
I think he was. I think he was, and that's the play I ride with. I ride with Collins also, because I remember a time when they first got to Atlanta, when him and Trae got together, it'll be times where like they would come down the court and just talk to each other, and he'll go one way, Trae go, and it's a dunk every time. And now it's like he'll come down the court, give me the ball, he'll have the post up, and it's like, no, move out of it, man. It's real, it's bad, and that's why I be trying to tell folks. Folks be like, yeah, he's the problem, like. Bro, you don't go for average 20 and 10 to just forget how to play basketball. That's coaching, but it also, man, it's like it's coaching. We don't do no screen and roll. We don't do we do the pick and roll every now and again. We don't do no penetrating kick. We don't do no back cut. It's like, man, it's crazy. Like, man, I can talk about this all day, and I say the same stuff to people, and folks be like, yeah, he's the problem. And I'm like, do y'all watch these games? Like last night, he got fouled trying to grab a rebound. Oh, Collins, the reason we lost. Bro, we was up 8, and Griffin was hot, and Coach McMillan took him out the game. That's not a player problem. That's a coaching problem. Like,
let me get KC the Loaf in here. KC, I understand that you have heard speak about Atlanta, and you wish to offer your opinion. The floor is yours.
Thank you, my good sir. But I agree with the pickup on, like, John isn't the problem. And our problems are real, but they're correctable. That's the thing. Like, I think our biggest problem, or one of the biggest problems, is coaching. I don't think Nate is the guy that's going to take us there. And then also, Trey has to be better about moving the ball, keeping the fucking ball moving. Because, I mean, way too many times we're just, like, getting stuck in late shot clock situations. And, I mean, you know what happens from there. It's just, like, mad scrambling. And but like I said, the only thing is, I think if Nate is replaced and we commit to keeping the ball moving, and once Clint comes back, I think we'll be fine again. I personally don't want to trade John. I think people are overestimating what we could get back from him. And I personally don't see the real issue with John, man. Like, you know, I mean, his numbers are fine, but his usage rate is even lower than it's ever been. I just think he's not the problem, and we can, like, fix what we got going on right now.
He is now averaging 12.7 boards, 49% shooting from the floor, 21 from deep. If that doesn't sound like a player that wants out of a city, I honestly don't know. When you look at what he's been able to put together already in his seventh season, he's on pace to score less than he did as a rookie if this continues. So just understand, like, people are calling that regression, but here's what his field goal attempts were: 7.4, 13.6, 14.8. At 14.8, he was averaging 21 and 10. Since then, 12, 9.
Right.
Yeah, it goes down every year, and the stats are, and everybody talk about the analog, and the stats are there. Whenever he get used 18.2 usage rate, we are 9-2. But it's like that's why I'm like, what? Like, every time I just see Nate coach, I be like, what do they practice, or what did he be telling them in the timeout? Because it's like, we'll call a timeout, run a play, and it be the same exact play. So it be like, what are you telling these cats? Like, I don't know, man. It's horrible.
Yeah,
that's why the coaching part comes into, like, a little bit. I mean, like, you're right though, but, like, it's not all of it. But coaches could iron some of that shit out too.
Let me get JB Fortis in here. He wanted to come up as soon as we started talking some Hawks and Bulls. What you got?
I want to talk some Hawks for a second. You don't think the problem is the lack of sexiness to John Collins' game? Because that's what I think the problem is. I think the Atlanta Hawks.
No, because his game was sexy 3 years ago. Half the league wanted to trade for him.
It was sexy as shit 3 years ago.
You say that, and I say to you that ever since that was happening, the Hawks have been trying to highlight, and I don't mean this through their actual actions on the basketball court. I mean this through the media and through their transactions. Everything else besides John Collins. Whether it's Clint Capella needs to be Defensive Player of the Year 2 years ago, or whether it's acquiring DeJounte Murray, or look how great it is when Trey Hawk waves to the Knicks, or Trae Young waves to the Knicks fans, and everything media-wise, social media-wise, advertisement-wise, goes away from, I don't want to say catering to, but from stroking John Collins' ego. And when you do that, and you alienate a player, that it's bound to eventually catch up over time. Now, just because you're seeing that right now doesn't mean that your 12-12-9 stat isn't right. I mean, it's spot on. But the reason for the discontent, the reason for the poor performance, I don't think that it's physical. I think it's mental. I think it's mental. I don't think he wants.
Well, it's not that.
Let me get this.
No.
Let me get this.
I wouldn't put much.
Yeah. Let me get this real quick. I push back because all his other attributable stats have stayed the same. Right? Less and as an important role, and yet he's still rebounding at 7 as he has the last 2 seasons. He's still giving you that only one assist, that only one steal, and that one block every other game. Right? He's been cut out of the Atlanta offense. So if you're a player, like, how are you going to respond when you've been successful? You were actually marketed as a needed piece. Like, you're missing that 21 and 10 season. Like, they were high. And the issue was they didn't want him to be that high because they didn't want to give him a higher contract. I don't know if you remember that, but that broke out all in Atlanta news. And that, just like what Ayton was going through, was the first rift, right? And then the usage rate went down. He started complaining, and they cut him out of the social media promotions and stuff because, like, he was, quote, malcontent. That's the issue. You're talking optics that are being pushed versus does the player actually have a legitimate, discussion here?
But you,
what I'm proffering
I just want to push
is
back on that, Chris.
But you did that to yourself.
I'm not saying you're wrong on those reports, but I don't put much stock into them because what my eyes are showing me on the court, their interactions with Trey, John, and the rest of the team, they look fine. You know what I mean? So I'm hesitant to, believe these unnamed sources that are saying this and that.
Yeah, that's not true. Because if you ever talk to Collins or you ever hear everything he preaches is Atlanta, and he always say, "I need to do this, but we as a team need to play better." So he's not on there. Even when he's not in the game, he's on the what's the name cheering. But you got to do that thing. So now, if that was the case, he'd be at the end of the bench and he'd be checked out. So now,
let me get JB in here so he can reply. I don't want him to feel like he's being jumped on.
It's
JB,
okay.
go ahead.
I don't feel like I'm being jumped on. My take is purely mental, and that's because I didn't see the one rebound and the one assist and the one steal and the one block every other game. I should have realized that when you do that once every game, that everything is a-okay. No.
Well, no. What it is the same when you produce the same level, other than the points, right? That's the issue. His issue is you had me here before, and then you've arbitrarily taken what I'm supposed to do away. Like that's why they're saying it's a coaching issue. I'm saying they made a determination some point or other that DeAndre Hunter fit better. Right? They made a determination that the combination of Clint Capella and Onyeka Okongwu fit better. They made a determination that they want to run a 3-guard lineup for 30 minutes, so they put Bojan Bogdanovic in there to give them that 3-guard lineup, even though he's supposed to be a 6-man, because he's the only one who really does better off-ball action as a 3-point shooting guard.
But do you see all of those moves? I mean, Chris, do you see how all of those moves come from management, whether it's coaching or whether it's upper management? The level of disrespect, like being displeased with your boss, is something that most people in the universe who are employees can feel. Just because John Collins makes $129 million over 5 years or whatever that contract is, doesn't mean that he can't feel a certain type of way towards his bosses. And that's essentially probably what he feels, whether it's coming from Nate McMillan or Travis Schenke steps down, or whether it's getting less usage. You can come up with any number of reasons, but the point is that over the last 3 years or 4 years, I've seen John Collins in trade rumors. I've seen John Collins not want to get paid, and then people say, "Oh, he's not worth that." I've seen John Collins' usage go down. I've seen all of the different things that you've been bringing up. And even if he's not upset with his teammates, right, even if he's not upset with the same people doing his job, there's no way in heck he's not disgruntled with management. I mean, you'd have to be blind.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Well, that part is. On to the Bulls real quick. DeMar DeRozan, 28. Zach LaVine, 22. Vucevic, 20. Big news out of Chicago is that the supposed rift, if there is a rift, is in regards to Zach LaVine's defense. To which I say, if you were ever thinking he was going to be an elite defender, you lost that lotto ticket a long time ago. Right? Let's be honest, he's an offensive player, and he can be adequate and engaged defensively. And let's also be clear, DeMar DeRozan ain't an elite lockdown defender either. Right. And you hear me harp when we talk about roster construction that my number one rule is redundancy. And I always thought there was a fatal flaw to this Bulls team because it was over reliant on one Lonzo Ball. Lonzo Ball was the dude who didn't need the shots. He still got the shots, but he didn't need the shots. He didn't necessarily look for the shots. He looked to give DeMar the shots. He looked to give Zach the shots. And if there were shots left over, he would be happy to take them from 30 feet. It is bad news out of Chicago as Lonzo Ball is not coming back yet. I've heard different things from they're going to shut him down to like we're talking career-threatening stuff. It is a shame, and I've already made my thoughts on that, clear. I'm not going to add it in because that'll take the discussion to another route. But when he's gone, the likes of Alex Caruso and Ayo Dosunmu, who both have been playing either really, really good or really, really bad, and Kobe White, it's just not enough because none of those three can actually perform the function that a duo of DeRozan and Levine need. So, ergo, they have to make a decision. And they still have yet to make the decision to play through Vucevic as if this was the Orlando Vucevic. Because once again, if you can play in the middle and dominate the middle, it tends to free out the perimeter. And you'd get the ability to sink the defense in on Vooch, who could then swing it out. Maybe Zach gets an open three, or through the wondrous mechanism of defensive switching, Zach passes the ball to DeMar, and DeMar is able to attack the rim. Like, this isn't really difficult. Like, in reality, they actually need to go back in their history and play a bit of the triangle offense. The issue, again, is Billy Donovan doesn't know that. They win, and it was a much-needed win, 110-108. I don't buy any stock in this win, but I want to get what your thoughts are on Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan and the Bulls. We'll go to JB first.
Okay. My take on the Bulls, and I felt this way ever since they upset the Celtics in the second win, when they played desperate and the Celtics were just bombarded, is that when the Bulls play desperate, whenever they feel a sense of urgency, they are really, really good. And you saw that again last night. And if you were to look at their schedule, you'd see these like little blips. You'll see these blips where the Bulls look amazing. And you're like, well, they do it against great teams. They do it against good teams. And then they sink right back down, which tells me, and the weird thing about these blips is that they come, at least in my perception, they come externally. They come when Sam Amick drops a story that says Zach LaVine and the Bulls management are struggling, and then all of a sudden he has to answer those questions. They come when the media, me included, are questioning whether the Bulls season is on the line. I think that the issue with that style of play and that style of a season is that there's just no way that it's sustainable for more than a game. And if that's the case, then what are you hoping for out of this season? If you get in the play-in tournament, you have one big win, and then what? You go up against the 1 seed, or you go up against the 7, or you go up against the 2 seed, and you get swept? And if that answer is correct, if you come to the same conclusion that I do, then we spin the conversation forward and say, what precisely could you get for Zach LaVine? Because you've already exhausted through the trade rumors of DeMar DeRozan. We've gone through the Los Angeles Lakers giving up their 2 picks for DeMar DeRozan and Russell Westbrook. We've gone through a lot of DeMar DeRozan trade rumors, but we haven't really explored the Zach LaVine thing. Could you get more? And if you did get more, what precisely would more look like? I think that's a very interesting question. Not only do I think it's a very interesting question, I think that over the next 2 weeks, that we in Hoop Spaces and that whatever podcast that you listen to that covers the NBA is going to end up exploring that. Because I think that they're coming to the same conclusion that you came to, Chris, which is that there's a lot of redundancy when it comes to DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine. And it's not going to be sustainable in an actual playoff series. That's my thoughts on the Bulls.
Yeah, no, I like it. And looking at Zach LaVine, he really hit his stride. He really took his game to the next level in the trade for Jimmy Butler. He came to Chicago in 2017. He averaged 17 points. All numbers will be rounded to the nearest number. But when he became the feature, 24 points, 26 points, 27 points, 24 points, and now we're down to 22. The issue is his shots aren't down from last year. He's taken 17.6. He took 17.7. What is down is his efficiency, both in field goals and in threes and in free throws. And it's small. It's minor, a very small amount. But, one starts to wonder, is this kind of just going through the motions, which is a player-centric thing. And players are humans, and we don't know what his life is like, but, you get in a rut. And it affects your work. And I honestly just think he's in a rut. I like Zach LaVine as a basketball player, but I go in understanding he's not a defensive specialist. And the thing that's being harped is his defense. he's averaging over a steal per game, which he hasn't done in 2 seasons. So like the effort is there. The issue is the expectation, I think. We'll go to Zazu. What's up, Zazu? How you doing?
Hey man, what's up, my brother? Question. What y'all think about, now we're on the topic of the Bulls, what y'all think about DeMar to the Raptors?
I mean, I always thought there could be a reunion. It would be different. He would give you a problem though, because he would take Scotty Barnes' touches, and then that would have to admit that Scotty Barnes needs to come off the bench. But then I'm already,
For what?
Well,
Right? So in
you're
other
not
words,
gonna.
what are you getting for DeMar DeRozan? What's coming back the other way? So I'm okay with the idea of DeMar going to the Raptors. For what? Give me some. Give me the trade package.
This isn't the right way to respond to this question, by the way. We all should have been like, oh, DeMar and the Raptors. I wonder what that would look like. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before, and that should have been how we did that.
Well, I was looking at it that way, but I didn't want to say it like that. But yeah, you're probably right. What's up, Tony? How you doing?
The issue with that is that you can't say it that way. You can't say it that way. You can't respond that way, because when DeMar was with the Raptors, you had Kyle Lowry playing there. You had Kawhi Leonard playing. Well, you didn't have Kawhi Leonard because that's who was traded for. Like, it's a world away. The team is wildly different.
JB, you guys will be probably getting back Fred VanVleet, because since you guys are the actual point guard, shooting guard, combo guard.
Well, then look,
Zazu must be on the full train of get Fred VanVleet out of Toronto.
No, I'm not. I'm not on that train, because I do believe the Raptors. Fred VanVleet plays. We need Fred VanVleet in the Raptors because he does hit a lot big. Like the Fred VanVleet we fell in love with was the Fred VanVleet that hits big shots when needed. So we will need him down the line, but we want him more off. Like, I think he's best suited as off ball. The kid has been playing shooting guard since he's been in the NBA. Since he's been playing beside Kyle Lowry, to trying to make him play point guard. We're seeing a lot of his flaws, and so that's we want him off ball. So if Scotty, Pascal, and OG are on the floor together, and Fred is also on the floor, we can't have Fred be on the ball, because Scotty and OG and
like
Pascal.
We ask about DeRozan, and like we're talking about Fred VanVleet. I feel so bad for you right now.
I know. That's the crazy thing, right? So what I'm saying is, like, Pascal, OG, and Scotty, they take up the same space in terms of the way they play. So if Fred is on ball, it makes somebody out of the pretty much not see the ball, and that's becoming Scotty. And Scotty's not a catch and shoot off ball player.
Well, neither is DeRozan, which is why you wouldn't move Fred VanVleet for it. They would try to give them to take probably Chris Boucher and Gary Trent in the first. For sure.
But we just want DeMar.
Hey, I feel you. I actually, like, there is a team that I think could actually trade for DeMar, and it makes sense to me. It's a team that we haven't talked about as a buyer ever, because it's the Oklahoma City Thunder, who are starting to figure out that they are actually too good to tank at 14 and 18. I think if you would add DeMar DeRozan there and put him in place of Jalen Williams at the 3, I think that would be scary with DeMar, Shea, and Josh Giddey. That is what I want Sam Presti to do, because it's not going to cost you that much. You've got the contract, you got the space. You don't even need to send a first. You can send multiple seconds, because you're really just giving contract relief. But that's what I would look at. Another one would be Dallas. Dallas could actually do very well. I think a Christian Wood, Reggie Bullock base gives the Bulls some flexibility to get off of their cap. And you get another scorer who's going to be able to alleviate some of the pressure from Luka. I think that's a good one. We'll go to.
How about Magic? The Orlando Magic.
Huh?
Well,
how about you're stealing my thunder, Zazu? You're stealing my
thunder. I can't hear you.
Well, how about the Orlando Magic?
Oh, no. I don't think so.
Chris, what if I gave you a package centered around Cole Anthony and Jalen Suggs for
No.
DeMar DeRozan. And then
No.
DeMar's playing among the trees with
No.
Bol Bol as my primary point guard.
Yeah.
How
No.
are the Raptors number one in offensive turnover percentage and number one in defensive turnover percentage? That
is wild.
Wow. Continue.
Orlando's not trading Suggs. Like you try, like maybe Cole Anthony, like one of those three have to go, but they're not trading Suggs. They like Suggs. They like Suggs a lot. Joe, if you gotta come up, you gotta like it, retweet the show card, shoot your boy up here, follow, be cordial. That's how we move about here. Tony Schwartz of 5 Reasons Sports covering the Miami Heat is up on stage. Bulls and Hawks are in flux and looking bad. But here's some teams who are not. One of them happens to be the Sacramento Kings, Tony. Did you know that they won last night?
Yeah, I watched the Sacramento game with a lot of disdain because this is me realizing I need to stop betting the Lakers spreads. LeBron got me very excited for about 10 seconds with 5 minutes left in that fourth quarter, and I sent out a tweet, and I was just like, man, I'm going to miss watching this guy play basketball.
Yeah.
And then immediately the Lakers made me regret ever believing that they could get a game to 7 points.
There you go. Kendrick Nunn, ladies and gentlemen, your Tony Snell Award winner of the evening. 11 minutes of cardio, 6 shots, meaning he took a shot in every 1 minute and 47 seconds almost, and missed all of them badly.
Hey, Tony, can I ask a question about the Heat since you're up here? Would you be interested in putting together a trade package to send to the Atlanta Hawks for Trae Young that doesn't include Jimmy Butler or Bam Adebayo?
There's people that definitely would be, and I'm gonna not try and put myself in this. I personally don't want to trade for the guy that Tyler Hero hunted in a playoff setting. There's things about the Miami Heat currently as constructed where you go, well, if you take this guard and put in Trae Young, isn't the defense about the same, but you have more offensive firepower? I agree with that in a sense, but the team is also getting reshifted, by all accounts, getting reshifted to be better versatile defensively. Going into the playoffs, I don't think that that's a vision or a path that they're ever going to commit to. And I feel the same way about DeMar DeRozan. There's a lot of talk about DeMar DeRozan around Miami, and I just can't see them committing to weaker point of attack defense at the moment when that's something they desperately need to fix.
DeMar's not as weak as Trae Young on defense, though.
Well, it doesn't matter. If you're gonna get hunted, you're gonna get hunted, and both players have been hunted in the playoffs.
And it's like with Miami, how many points does Trae Young have to score to account for the other side of that, right? If Trae Young is your second option on the Miami Heat, or even your third option, depending on like what you consider Bam Adebayo now.
Wait! You really think Trae would be a second or third option?
But that's my point. I don't see a way to limit his usage rating to being an off-ball player where he can account for as many points as you would need to get to make up for what he limits you, what he gives up on the other side, right?
But couldn't I give that same analysis on Tyler Hero?
You could, but why do I want 2 of those?
Hey, well, actually, I'll push back and say no, because people tend to forget that defensive rebounds are a defensive stat.
Yeah, Tyler's an amazing defensive
it ends the offensive possession, and people discount it, and that's why I've always said Tyler Hero can't guard a paper bag, but Tyler Hero is a good team defender.
I think the best thing about Tyler Hero, though, is he realizes that, and he's adapted to be this Dante DiVincenzo-y type defender where he's blasting out in front of screens when he feels them coming from the backside and kind of blowing up the passing lane. Like, that's the best thing you can hope for a player like that their IQ kind of fills in some of those defensive gaps and you can stop actions. And growth I've never seen Trae Young take.
All right, I've got Joe up here who did the right thing. He's following us for the first time, maybe the second, don't know. Joe, you heard me say I think the Oklahoma City Thunder are both too good to tank, and they realized it, and would actually benefit from the likes of DeMar DeRozan. Your thoughts?
Honestly, I think that on the defensive end and more of the flow of the offense would definitely help out. because the only one that's like doing pure driving is Shea. Giddey does it sometimes, but I feel like sometimes he takes the 3-point shot or a deep two-point shot that just doesn't make sense. And then DeRozan is more of that guy that can teach Giddey and all these other young players that, which would make the elevation of the team a lot better. But I do see some kind of flaws, like as far as like Pokusevski's done a lot better this year as far as for when it comes to defense and being in the right position. But if I were to make a run for like the future, I would definitely give a call to the Suns and maybe try to get Ayton out of their hands because of the frustration. And typically, if a player's not happy on a team, sometimes you can get them for a little bit cheaper than the asking price. Because if you go into talks now, going into January, I mean, Presti's pretty good at finessing situations to get players that are high value at a lower cost, just like you're saying for DeRozan. So it just varies of what the team really wants to do, because it doesn't help when Pokusevski is kind of skinny and he can't. Well, he's been a little bit bulkier now, but yeah, he's always going to be that slim build, kind of forward center guy. And then Chet, that he's going to be good. It just, you don't know where he's at right now. But to me, in my eyes, I think Chet is more of a 4 than a 5. So then if you had Chet, Ayton, Giddey, Dort, and Shea as your starting 5, that would be phenomenal, honestly. And the way that Giddey can pass, I mean, Ayton would just eat that shit up. So that's where I would go. If you can get Ayton, maybe for like 2 first-round picks because they can afford it, and maybe 1 or 2 players, I mean, that would be a more higher value than just to try to go for DeRozan. Because DeRozan, he's good, but he does get hurt, and I don't know how much he has left in the tank.
Oh, which is why it's the perfect play, because as you said, like undervalued or distressed assets, you get DeRozan for this year, and then his contract becomes an expiring, so then you just flip him and recoup the trade value that you just sent out for him. But Ayton in Oklahoma City is interesting. I could see that happen. I think they would wait closer to the draft to make sure they knew what their draft positions were. Same thing with Detroit. Same thing with Indiana. They both of them had interest in Ayton, although Detroit seems to be fine with Isaiah Stewart and Jalen Duren. Miami has a problem.
Personally, sorry,
yeah?
I'll add to that.
Go ahead.
Personally, what I think is that Sam Presti is a very patient man. So I was looking at the other day of how many draft picks they have for 2024. I mean, they could just go into that bag with all the picks and go for Wembanyama and just wait 1 more year, because, I mean, they can. They definitely can. And then that's where Trey Mann can definitely be more developed, and Wiggins and all these other guys that would probably come off the bench. And probably you would have like the best core off the bench waiting 1 more year to go get Wembanyama.
The way dudes talk about Chet, look, I don't know what this player is going to be. Chet works out a lot down here in Miami, and the way the trainers talk about Chet makes me consider maybe Victor shouldn't be the play for OKC.
Oh, I again, without seeing Chet play against the players, I just wait until next year. But Miami has a problem, Tony, and Oklahoma City has the answer, and his name is Darius Baisley.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Mike Muscala.
They're not going to give up Mike now. Mike's too integral to their center rotation.
I think also, like, one of the weirdest things Heat Twitter does is kind of pick and choose like these names to fixate on instead of like the skill sets. The Raptors have Thaddeus Young on their bench doing what?
Jeff, don't do that, Tony.
What's he doing?
Look,
what are you guys doing?
He's providing veteran leadership and stability.
Not only that,
he's on the bench being a force.
What?
Not only that, he actually, Tony, if you watch our game, he actually makes winning plays that don't show
Which
up in
is why I would
stats.
like him.
But go
Yeah,
crazy.
and you're just not winning enough, and there's no reason for him to be there. And he's been in the league for 15 years, and I would like him.
Oh no, I said the same thing about him in Atlanta. Every time I see him on the SAR team, I be like, why Atlanta ain't trying to get him? I be wondering because it's like every time he play us, he play against Atlanta, he
is now
always
after
kill
Thaddeus
us.
Young. This is hilarious.
bro.
Hey guys, it's been 3 hours. It's been so fast. I have 2 more games to get to real quick, and then I got to hit the button because I got to get out of here. Clippers Hornets 126-105. I actually watched this game this morning. I wish I hadn't. Charlotte is just. I feel bad for him. I feel bad.
That's another thing too, is that nobody's really talking about the situation with the Hornets and LaMelo Ball, because originally the head coach and the GM really don't get along that much with LaMelo, and the way they make their play calls is not favored to LaMelo. So I kind of wonder where they would go with that. Are they going to keep him, fire the coach, or because when you have a young player like that,
they fired the coach and they brought back Steve Clifford. Like that's the problem. Like the
Steve Clifford though isn't the problem though, Chris. Steve Clifford is actually doing a pretty decent job. The problem is that their roster has been injured, and then my problem is actually with the GM.
The roster is really good. It's not even hurt any longer. It's just not good.
I mean,
that's what I mean. I have a problem with the GM. The problem isn't Clifford. The problem is the GM. They need to make it. MJ really needs to get away from people that he really knows that are from North Carolina. Like enough, and make better decisions.
Here are the Charlotte Hornets latest rounds of draft picks. Right, Mark Williams, Kai Jones, JT Thor, the James Bouknight. Bryce McGowan, who's the second round.
No, Bryce McGowan is going to be good though.
I like Bryce, but my gosh, lots of Nick Richards, who's finally showing something this year.
Yeah, he's finally showing something, but the draft has not been. Yeah, and LaMelo, they're going to get. I mean, that they were going to end up with Wiseman or LaMelo. They lucked out with that one.
And the issue they have is they just have not been able to develop any of their players, and that's really the frustration from LaMelo's side. By the way, it's like they're not. They should be better. That's his complaint. Like you can't fault the player for thinking the team should be better after being there for a couple of years.
I don't know, dude. People who watch basketball on calculators tell me Nick Richards is the best basketball player that's ever lived. So
I've got Nick Richards on 2 of my fantasy teams. So tell me about
Nick Richards is good, but he's not a starter. Like not yet, but he's a capable backup. But he's still learning too. But he's got better with his feet. He's gotten better, and he's a big guy. But he's gotten better. But he's not the solution yet.
Why y'all not talking about how they're missing a 20 points a game scorer and was never replaced? Come on, y'all.
You just took it wild because I was going to ask where does the Mikal Bridges situation?
Because Kelly Oubre is actually taking that 20-point scorer. Like, what do you think he's been doing?
Who's replacing Kelly Oubre's production from last year?
Oh, that's the problem. They drafted 5 players and they haven't been able to get it. Like that's why we're complaining about the GM and player development.
You know who that team needs? Kelly Olynyk.
Oh gosh, Miami needs Kelly. All right, they lose to a Clippers team who, despite not having all of their starters together ever until last night, which is hilarious, by the way. They are looking good, ladies and gentlemen. 19-14, second in the Pacific. Sounds like a sprinkler. Yeah, it's getting to me. Buy or sell the Clippers, if healthy, is a viable contender out in the West. Because like a lot of people wrote them off. And I'm sitting here like, hey, I see them. They're starting to get healthy. And they look good.
Who is the best team in the West right now? Who is the best team in the West?
Denver, Memphis.
Oh wow. Well, they got a chance there.
Like
they got a chance.
It's a crapshoot.
If they healthy, and they can get everything together by
Thanks
near
for
the
letting me
playoff
out,
time,
man.
I think they have a chance.
You guys have a good one.
All right, appreciate you, Joe. All right, last game up, because we're running out of time. Like, my son is looking at me through the door, so I got to get going. Lakers and Kings. The Kings light the beam. Yes, they did. 31 points from LeBron James. Every starter for the Lakers scored in double digits. But, man, I tell you, Kendrick Nunn, that was just rough. I feel for him. Like, he's just trying to get out there and get his game back, but it ain't being nice.
Hoop Space's lesson of the day. Thank God you guys stayed with us. You're going to get a really valuable nugget here. Stop betting Lakers spreads. We only bet Lakers unders from now on. You will thank your families. You'll become very wealthy, an entrepreneur. Shout outs to everyone who follows this advice.
Domantas Sabonis, 13 points, 21 boards, 12 assists. Ladies and gentlemen, another 20 rebound performance. And I had said this before, and some people thought I was joking. Domantas Sabonis has already surpassed Chris Webber as the best power forward in Kings history. Micah, what do you got?
Man, Chris, I'm just going to say, they are so fun, like, and just seeing them enjoying their success. So, I just want to congratulate you for putting together a good team and picking the right coach. You are doing great over there, Chris. Keep it up.
I have never worked for the Kings, nor do I work for the Sacramento Kings. Shout out to Paris Anderson. Keegan Murray, y'all. I tried to tell you about him at the draft. I told him I really like him. I liked him because he was in my mind, a perfect fit for modern offense. So you can put him at the 3 or the 4. He's going to give you some adequate defense. He's going to give you some rebounding. But man, he's got a shot. And last night he went 6 for 12. And I'm really excited to see what he's going to be able to do in his career. 23 points for Keegan Murray. Harrison Barnes, 20 points. And what's really funny is when I'm watching this game, I remember a young Harrison Barnes, and I am laughing because if you remember, he was supposed to be the next Kobe. Keegan Murray is like Harrison Barnes, but a more natural shooter. So I think that kind of bodes well, because even though people like to use draft positions as a barometer for whatever reason, Harrison Barnes has had a hell of a career. And if Keegan Murray is going to be Harrison Barnes or better, I mean, that goes well. So shout out to Harrison Barnes, still actually doing the damn thing, averaging 14 points and 5 boards this season. And I have a question as we get ready to get out of here. This is the last trivia question of the day. All right. It's going to be real simple. How many years has Harrison Barnes been in the NBA, ladies and gentlemen? Wow. Nobody.
10, right? It's been 10 years, right? Or has it been a little longer?
It's been longer.
Is it the same amount of years as Cody Zeller? Because I always get that one wrong, too.
Or is it DeMar DeRozan? Is it 13 years?
12.
Yep. Ladies and gentlemen, Harrison Barnes is entering his 12th NBA season.
Are you serious?
I am serious. Exactly, right? Like, yes.
Because I said the same thing when they said that about DeRozan. They was like, yeah, this is 13. I was like, for real?
For real?
So, yeah, it surprised me, yeah.
Yes. Like, give him his flowers. It's hard to make the league, period. He's been here for 12. Good contracts, too. Smart guy.
Before we close it up, I want to end my spiel and comedy session on this note. Out of all the teams that could acquire Trae Young, and I think there's a lot that would be potential buyers if that future was to happen. Man, Dallas would be fucking hilarious. Dallas would be so fun.
My one is New York. Like, can you imagine RJ Barrett and Jalen Brunson for Trae Young? I would die laughing. Well, I don't want to say die laughing because I don't want to die. I would have a hearty laugh that would render me on the floor unconscious for several hours. There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to say thank you for going on another day of Hoop Spaces. Tonight, San Antonio and New Orleans at 8 p.m., Washington at Utah at 9 p.m. Those are your only two games. Then you got Friday, full slate of games. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Saturday, there are no games because it's Christmas Eve. And then the New York Knicks host the Philadelphia 76ers at 12 p.m. Christmas. If you are not watching that game, you will miss greatness. There. Like, I didn't even have to say the name. You heard it without me saying it. Give myself a point. Yeah, that's it for today's show. Brought to you by Slam Goods. Head over to slamgoods.com. Go pick up that sweet Sacramento Kings Jason Williams white chocolate Funko Pop. $19.99 is the price. It is an exclusive to Slam Goods. You will not find it anywhere except the secondhand market where they'll give you an upcharge, and you can go buy it now for less than $20. If you use promo code HoopSpaces, you'll save about $1.75, making the cost under $19. You can't get better than that. There you go. You have your homework. Make sure you do it. After that, make your way to the Hoop Spaces merch store, because I'm not going to lie. Doing this for 2 years has been awesome. It's also been expensive, not because it costs a lot, but because of lost wages. And if you ever want to have a talk about what it takes to do what we are doing here, I'm here for it, because I've probably turned down enough money to pay my son's tuition, fix my house without having to take out a loan, to try to build a wonderful brand here where we can get together and share our love and passion for basketball. So any purchase does actually help me. So if you do want to support the show, hoodies are $45. Go ahead and pick one up. They're made out of Gildan, so it's actually quality stuff you see at the store anyway. There will be a special edition drop sometime next year with it embroidered and stitched, so make sure you keep an eye out for that. And like always, if you are out on your bike, do wear white. As a shout out to Tony Kornheiser, because I still find him funny. That's it today. See you tomorrow, 10 a.m. Make sure, though, if you are a Boston Celtics fan or you know a Boston Celtics fan, hit them up to let them know that they have a chance to win an interview with Derek White, thanks to the FansView app. And tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we will be talking with Malika Walker of the Rewind Pod. Malika, go ahead and tell them what we got tonight, and also preview what you got with the Last Chance U episodes you got coming up in December.
Thank you. Tonight we'll be talking about the Larry Bird era Celtics. We'll be talking about the Celtics before Larry Bird got there, and the Celtics after Larry Bird left. The team that his teammates that he played with, coaches, and really shining a light on that era. That's the era the Celtics fans voted for. So that is tonight at 8 p.m. And next week, I'll be speaking with former current coaches, former current players of JUCO, from the JUCO world, and we will talk about how JUCO works. How does recruiting take place? Playing time and how that affects players looking for scholarships, and the burden that they possibly feel with getting players scholarship, getting them to the next level. How much academics plays a role in that, and how much they have to stay on players to keep up with the academic side, because that's how some players end up landing in JUCO. So we'll talk about all that in Last Chance U next Thursday. So the panel will pretty much be people from JUCO. And then later in the show, we'll bring people up to ask them some questions, because they're the ones who are in the world and are in the know. So hopefully y'all join us next week. But tonight is all about Larry Bird and the Boston Celtics.
And if you are needing some names as to why this JUCO show is going to be great, as well as the Larry Bird show tonight, Jimmy Butler, Dennis Rodman, Larry Johnson.
You cut out, Chris. Are you there?
Yeah, you can't hear me?
He can hear you now.
All right. I just named off a whole bunch of JUCO players, so if y'all didn't hear it, that sucks. I'll say it again for posterity purposes. Jimmy Butler, Dennis Rodman, Larry Johnson, Mookie Blaylock, Spencer Hayward, Nate Archibald, Ben Wallace, John Stark, Shawn Marion, and the list goes on for JUCO players that made the NBA. It's a foundational piece of upward mobility.
And the Hall of Fame.
And the Hall of Fame.
Made the Hall of Fame. Some of them are champions, so.
Yeah. So make sure you tune in because this is you empowered to have a better basketball discussion. Back tomorrow, 10 a.m., I'm going to go ahead and hit this button because once again, ladies and gentlemen, I try to tell people what's going to happen before it happens. Okay? I try very hard to help you succeed in life. This is why I'm telling you today. My son had pancakes, maple syrup and butter. He was over at my neighbor's house. He took a bite, stopped, and said, I'm done. Please, may I be excused? Because in that moment, he realized that loose sloppy bread is inferior to French toast. Thank you, everybody. See you tomorrow, 10 a.m. Peace out.
Chris, you my boy, but you kill me with the food.
No, Chris.